All right, we're live. Welcome back to another episode of Now Listen Here on the Now Listen Here studio. Now, if you were here with us for our last live stream, you would know that we had a very, very lively conversation, a pretty engaging, pretty lively show. But not only was it provocative and engaging, but it was extremely emotional. It was very enlightening. It was very informative, to hear our guests speak of their experiences with dating and marriage. So tonight, we're back for part 2 of the conversation because, believe it or not, we left a whole lot of stuff on the table. So, tonight, we're going to pick that conversation back up. But, unfortunately, we will be without 2 of our guests tonight. We'll be without our Keona is traveling, and unfortunately, she was not able to get to her destination in time. So, she gives her apologies for not being here tonight. And Arnica had an unexpected engagement that is preventing her from being here with us as well. So she also called to give her apologies for not being here with you tonight. But all of our men are back, along with our co-host, Keeshan Fowler, the communications maven extraordinaire. So I'm not going to prolong this conversation on this side of the show. So after this opening, we'll be right back. We're back. So, and like I always say, as we begin every show, a good man is never hard to find as long as you're looking in the right places. So, ladies, make sure you're looking in the right places. And, speaking of that, that's exactly what we're talking about here tonight. This idea of the trials of dating and marriage in the modern era. And the question is, are we looking in all the wrong places? Well, to pick up this conversation from last week, I have here with me tonight again my co-host, Keeshan Fowler. Welcome back, Keeshan.
Thank you, Mark. It's a pleasure to be back here for another exciting show. And hello, everyone that is tuning in this evening.
Listen, man, I had to meditate after last week. I had to
listen,
down a little bit.
That was a lot.
It was pretty.
That was a lot. I'm glad that we made it back here for part 2. Folks were eagerly anticipating the day, and here we are. Unfortunately, the ladies aren't here.
Yeah.
I don't know where that leaves me.
I'm sure you could. I'm sure you could handle yourself.
I'm the co-host tonight.
Yeah. But listen. But I need that female perspective as usual. We got 3 guys tonight. And it's this is a show that sort of speaks to issues impacting men of color. So, it's good that we have these guys tonight. But I'm glad to have you back with us tonight to offer that fresh perspective, that female perspective as well. Hold it down for the ladies tonight.
Most definitely. Right?
So, also, again, like I said, so let me just welcome our guest back tonight with us. You met him last week. It's the man of the hour. Koran Bolden, welcome back, Mr. Bolden.
Hey, how you doing? Glad to be here.
It's so good to have you. And here we have Tevin is back with us. Tevin Wilson, welcome back, Tevin. Tevin, you were the superstar last week, man. Everybody was calling me, asking me for your number. Say, who that Jamaican dude is?
I don't know about that, but I appreciate you guys, inviting me and sharing my perspective. What's up, Koran? What's up? How you doing, man?
What up?
Good. And then joining us is Giovanni. This is the philosopher here, man. So I'm so glad to have him be a part of the show. Welcome tonight, Giovanni.
Good evening, everyone. I hope you guys are doing awesome. Giovanni here.
Yeah. All right, before we get going, as usual, I'd like to remind everybody to make sure that you like and subscribe. Go to our YouTube channel. It's Now Listen Here on YouTube. Like and subscribe to the channel so that you'll be updated on whenever we're posting new content or we're going live. You'll be aware. And then also, like us and follow us on Facebook at Now Listen Here Studios, same place that you're looking at watching us from tonight. So go ahead, please remember to like and subscribe and follow us. We have a lot of very interesting topics that we'll be bringing to you in future shows. So make sure that you don't miss out on anything. One of the other things I want to also mention before we begin is that each week, you guys were, out there in the audience were very engaged, and I really appreciate that considerably. And what we discussed, Keeshan and I discussed, is that each week what we look at is bringing on a guest panelist. So from the audience to be a part of our conversation. I was trying to look. There was a young lady, Banks T. She was really, really engaged in the conversation, and we were looking at trying to bring her on this week as a guest panelist, but I couldn't find a way to get a message to her. So Banks T, if you are out there, please send us messages so that we can, send you an invite. I'd like to have you come on and be a guest panelist with us. And again, if you follow us, to participate in the conversation, we'd also like to see how we can bring you on as a guest panelist. So with that said, that out of the way, I want to get to the conversation tonight. We left a lot on the table, guys. How you guys feeling about last week? We said a lot, we said a lot in 2 questions. I think we started with 2 questions. There was a whole lot said. So now tonight, we got quite a few more. I'm hoping you guys are ready to go. All right. So we're going to pick it up again. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to look at the dating aspect of the conversation, moving into marriage. And we talked about dating we talked about what dating, when dating started out, when it came around, and this idea that it was I guess you would say it was a way 2 individuals engage with each other to evaluate each other and each other's suitability as a partner in a future intimate relationship. And again, it's this idea that you're engaging to determine suitability for future intimate relationship. So the first question, I'm going to post the questions on the board tonight. And the first question is, should men and women continue to see each other if they are in the dating phase of a relationship? Should a man and woman continue to see other people if they're in the dating phase of a relationship? Your ideas, guys?
Mark, before the guys start, I think we're getting a feedback.
Okay.
I don't know if someone has on something that it needs to turn down. I don't know if someone is listening to the show while on air.
Okay, so guys, if there's something, Tevin, if you can check your sound. Okay, I think it's gone.
Yeah.
It's gone? Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So again, question: should men and women continue to see other people if they are in a dating phase of a relationship?
Kick us off, Tevin. I feel you got it, man. I feel you got it.
I was just thinking about the whole concept. Especially nowadays, how you coined the dating. If we could just take it back a bit further, we actually had courting. And
Tevin, do me a favor before you continue. Can you check your microphone to make sure, because you're not coming across loud enough? Can you bring it a little?
You hear me? You hear me clearly now?
Yeah, hearing you a lot better now.
Okay, I guess I have to hold it. But yeah, so before the whole dating concept came about, you had the whole courting aspect of where, a man would initiate that, initial phase where he would try to pursue a woman, try to meet their families and, ask for her hand in marriage. And so dating is relatively a new concept, if I must say.
Okay.
And so you have with this new concept, you have a thing called open relationship. So if I think that is necessary for us to define our boundaries of what type of relationship do we want. Do we want an exclusive relationship where it's just me and you? Are we trying to get an open relationship, or what is it that we're trying to accomplish? And so that will definitely determine whether you should see other persons or not. Because I know a lot of times, especially nowadays, you have polygamous relationships where people are coming together, to build a unit to be stronger than just a man and a woman. You see what I'm saying? They're trying to add another layer to that relationship. And so if that's the case, then it's quite all right to find another person in the relationship. But if not, if you just want a traditional relationship, a man and a woman, and you're serious about it, I definitely think you shouldn't be seeing anybody else.
Guys?
Mark, I think before we move any further, I hear Tevin, he's talking about relationship, but most importantly, we need to talk about the word dating. Is dating defined relationship? Relationship defined as dating? Because I don't think so.
Okay, so like I said, it's this phase where two people are,
We're dating, we're getting to know each other.
Are evaluating, and I'll say evaluating each other's suitability.
Correct.
As a partner in a future intimate relationship.
Correct. So Tevin was talking about relationship, but I don't want us to, get off track because we're talking about dating.
And again, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because, when you're in the initial phase of dating, relationship is the end goal. And so you're trying to see what that relationship is going to look like when you're in the dating phase. You see what I'm saying? So if you want your end relationship to be a polygamous relationship, and you guys are actually looking to add somebody else to that dynamic, then I think it would be okay for you to add somebody else to that dating pool. But if you try to get a traditional relationship, as a traditional relationship as the end goal, I think that in the dating phase you shouldn't be seeing nobody else.
I'm going to step back a little bit before I start asking questions. I want to hear what some of the other guys have to say on this question. Or Keeshan.
Three things: the sun, the moon, and the truth.
The sun, the moon, and I didn't hear that last part.
The truth.
Okay.
Okay. I guess it is cut and dry. Dating, right? There's the word relationship, not the same, right?
Exactly.
In my opinion, I see dating as the first phase. It's casual, spending time, just getting to know, conversation. That dating phase, a sip of coffee, probably a lunch or dinner, who the person is and what type of investment you want to make. Step one. And in this first step, there's no even thinking towards, hey, take this serious. I want to have this person. This is literally just getting to know. This is completely informal and just chill, right? Step two, you start breaking it down. You're probably depending on the guy, depending on your capability or the female. You say, okay, there's something I like about these people in the pool. I guess when I know a little bit more about them, see what is that? It's cut in two. Because the half you're winding down what you like. In the second half, you're starting. Some people who may have given you this idea that they what they were. Okay, that's not really what I'm into. So I started dropping the people off my list. The second phase of that, you got your probably last two. Okay, do I want something serious, or am I just playing? Because really inside, so in the second phase, you decide to want something serious, or and if it's something wrong with this is the point now relationship. I'm looking to take this to the next. I'm looking to be more serious and be more about this because this stuff has to be communicated. You can't assume anyone has to business, so you have to communicate. This is what I intend to do, or this is what I'm looking to do. Right? Not casual, or they guys make that forward in whatever direction that is. That third step, in my is where start to happen officially. You got interest in you. Let's see where let's sift in this dating realm. We're not in a relationship as yet. Become exclusive in this dating realm. How let's see if I enjoy you. Let's see if we enjoy one another. Now this phase here, I decide, okay, everything that's being done in this phase is what's going to encourage you to say, okay, do I want? And this is the step right before there's a question being asked up from your side as well. You're like, listen, I can't do this with this person. Off from the top.
Okay, so that's where you are. You said a lot, man, and I think we're going to dissect both what you and Tevin said. But again, I want to hear from Brother Koran. Your mic, open your mic.
I say, well, you know, I gotta always have a game changer mentality. I don't mean. So listen. So hear me out on this. I believe that modern day dating is not real. Honestly, I believe it's. Just hear me out. I know Tevin, he's over there ready to go to war. But listen to me. So listen to me. I think here's why. Dating's not real. It's just, I don't know who came up with the word. I don't know where it came from. But dating is, I think whoever created dating, like the word dating, because you know, back in the day, people used to just get married off by their families and stuff. Like you didn't get a chance to pick who you was gonna be with. It was like more lineage and stuff like that. Or if you were a king's daughter, you would get that. You were the best warrior, like King David or something like that, right? You didn't even have a chance to date anybody. You just got picked, and that's who you got, right? So this whole dating concept, I think whoever created, we have to ask ourselves the origin. Who created dating? And I believe the person that actually, I don't know this for sure, but just from a business mindset, somebody created dating because there was a problem. He created something because he or she created something because there was a problem. And I honestly believe that dating was a way for somebody to be able to test the cars versus go ahead and buying them. So me as a salesman, I'm a salesman. So like, I also understand that I used to actually sell cars. And like the best way to be able to get somebody to buy a car is to number one, make it seem like other people want that car really, really bad. And then you have to get them to commit into that car. But here's the problem with dating is that when you keep allowing people to test drive every car weeks at a time, they basically get to drive every car and they never have to commit to buying any car. And so I personally, and I'm close with this thought, I believe dating is not real only because here's my second thought. 95% of the people that you go into a date with, just off the flip, like just first interaction, you know deep down, I'm talking from a man's point of view, you know deep down inside that this is not the woman you're gonna marry. Men, this is me. When I see a woman, like I automatically, this is just me. I know if like off the just first interaction, I know that that's her. So this whole dating stuff is just playing around. Like that's just to me. I think that a lot of people are playing around with other people's husbands and wives, and then until we just get to a place where we just be serious and say, "Listen, I want you. What's up?" I think that we're gonna keep on spinning the block. But I personally, once again, will be willing to say that 95% of the people that you go onto a date on the first interaction, you might go to dinner with them, but you know just off the jump that you would not spend the rest of your life with that person. And so I think dating is I don't believe in it. It's not real.
I want Keeshan, any questions you have? Or any comments you want to make?
So I heard Koran. He wants to meet a beautiful lady today and say, "You like me? Yes or no? We're in a relationship." Right?
That's what he said last week.
That's what I gathered.
Yes.
And then you made a statement, whereas you're saying, why give everyone an opportunity to test drive? So I'm thinking you mean sexually, right?
Intimately, any kissing, hugging.
Okay, on that level of
any type
level
of
of intimacy shared.
Yep.
So I think for people who operate dating that way, don't date. That is not dating if you're allowing someone to be intimate with you. So for me, I feel, because I heard no one answer the question. I feel if you're going to date, you can date more than one person if you truly understand the concept of dating.
I think Giovanni answered the question because he put it in phases. He's saying, in one phase, this is kind of where you sort of checking everybody out. Second phase, that's when you can start making some cuts. And you look at it like,
I'm sorry, I'm basically like a straight to the point kind of gal. I like his breakdown, but I just want to know, could you or anyone date other people? Because some people straight out the gate, if I meet Joe today and me and Joe decide that, okay, we're gonna go on a date, I can make up in my mind I want to be exclusively dating Joe, whereas Joe could be dating me, Jennifer, Tiffany, Keisha, well in his right. So I think
you said he's right if he's dating all of these.
And if he's in his right because he's not we're not in a relationship.
So go ahead,
dating,
Tevin. Make sure
dating is one phase. Dating is one phase. Why I say that is because the minute you decide that, the minute you and the person you're dating decides that, hey, we're going to be exclusive to one another, then that turns into a relationship. Simple. We're not going to complicate dating. Dating is dating, relationship is relationship, marriage is marriage.
I mean, it sounds good. It sounds, and I agree with I agree with Koran. This idea of dating is so that people can actually flood the marketplace with all this promiscuity and over sexualize you meeting other people. Like, what's your name again, Miss the lady? What's your name?
Keeshan.
My name is Keeshan.
Keeshan, you know that's not true. If you was a woman,
no, you can't tell me what I know, Tevin. You can't tell me what I know because I just said to you specifically for those who know what dating is. Dating is I meet you. We decide that we're gonna get to know each other, and if I want to get to know you, Johnny, and whoever, may the best man win, who I feel that we have the connection with, and I want to have a relationship, and we both decide, then we go to that level. What Koran is saying is, cut out dating. I meet you today. You like me. I like you. Let's be together. All right.
Well, let me ask
you. You're contradicting yourself.
No, let me just say this, man. Let me say this. I support Koran.
So can I just finish my point? Can I just finish my point, though? So what I'm saying is, I have yet to meet a woman that I want to take on a date. The first thing she's gonna ask, especially Jamaican woman, I don't want nobody kick me. I don't want nobody burst my head for you. Are you seeing anybody else? Whether you're exclusive or not, when you're trying to initiate a date with another woman, that's what they want to know. They want to know if you're dating other people. And if you are dating other people, your chances to date her is slim to none.
When a woman,
I get 1 minute.
When a woman asks you that question, she ain't care if you dating someone. She want to know if you're in a relationship or if you married, if you committed to someone. That's when she asks that question.
Hey, I got one train of thought I want to put in here really quick. I'm just getting, I'm always a flamethrower, but I believe in leadership, right? And I don't like the way that our country is currently running, especially for the African American family, right? With this whole dating stuff. Like, listen, If you want me and I want you, let's make a decision now. Real quick, leaders. I always know a leader from the jump. There's only one thing. How quick do you make decisions? Whether you're a good leader or a bad leader. If you're a bad leader, you're a bank robber, you know, boom, 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 and you're gone in 30 seconds. If you're a good leader and a fire breaks out and you go get your family, boom, 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 you're a good leader. People that's indecisive, they never get anything. As a matter of fact, in the word, it actually tells you that an unstable mind is a man that's divided against himself. He's unstable in all his ways. So let me tell you one thing, that the reason that I don't agree. From a high value man, I'm a high value man. I got other high value men around me. I will tell you that if you tell me that you're talking to 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 different guys, I automatically don't want you. So even if that's number one, I don't want you. I'm first. I'm taking the time out of my day. I can't get my time back. I'm number one. I like you enough to take and spend the money out of my pocket to date you. If you're telling me that you're going to go date 4 or 5 different other guys, that's fine. We'll still be friends. We'll hang out. But you just X yourself out. And I'm not saying you can listen to me or not, but to be honest, you just X yourself out from me actually putting you in the wifey category. I'll just keep you in the dating category. I will never put you in the wifey category.
But you just said you don't date.
Koran, you're saying 2 things. You're saying 2 things here. One, there's no dating. You're saying that there's no dating. I see you. I like you. Let's get it on. I'm gonna buy you a ring.
Okay.
I'll make you my wife.
All right. So listen. So let me clarify.
Clarify, because what I'm getting is that once I should be able to see the person I like, and once I see this person I like, I say, hey, I like you. You're my wife. You're wife material. I'm gonna buy you a ring. That's kind of what I'm getting from you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna I don't know your family. I got to go through the process. To me, that's not dating. That is me actually engaging in you are the person that I actually want to be with. Now, if you
what do you call that stage?
That's not dating for me. Because
I just want to know in Koran's world.
I don't call it anything. This is the progression of you becoming Mrs. Bolden. That's it. I don't know anything else. Unless you messed it up. That's not dating. You don't find that.
You don't. Okay. So.
The last woman I was with for 17 years. And the minute I seen her, I looked at my partner and I said, that's my wife. And she became my wife.
And how long did it take for her to become your wife?
Okay, the little boy me, 5 years. And that was too long. The older man me, that's childish. 5 years. It took me 5 years. I was 19 years old. I didn't even have no money to buy the ring. What do you mean? I was a little boy at the time.
Here's the question I have for you again, and I know Giovanni has a statement to make. But see, here's the thing: if getting involved with her, you said that this was the right person, why did it not last?
5 years.
No, I'm saying it took 5. I don't mind. You could date for 5 years.
So you want to know why it didn't last?
Where did you go wrong? Where did you go wrong in your evaluation that it did not last forever?
Well, at that time I had a different. Let me explain myself.
You have to explain yourself because
I'm explaining myself. Listen, when I was a little boy, I was a little boy. I didn't. For
17 years?
No, I made her my baby mama like instantly. Like that's when you're a little boy. I'm talking. So listen, there's different contexts of times of things. At that particular time, as a little boy, I don't think wife. I think let me lock her down and make her my baby mama. So I'm just talking about an urban point of view. So I'm just saying it could be different cultures and different backgrounds from the hip hop, barbershop, like culture. I'm telling you, when you're a young boy, probably age 30, you're trying to make her your baby mother. I don't want to do that no more. Of course, I'm older, I'm much more mature, I'm much more wiser. There's a lot of different things. And if you want to ask me of the thing that I feel like, first of all, I feel like when you're in a marriage, one of the things that men often make the mistake of is they do too much producing and not enough protection. I didn't protect what I had. I produced, go get the money, go get the house, go get the car, go put the money on the table. But if anybody's ever planted grass before, my grandfather, he used to love grass, like the way he used to do landscaping. And he had a most beautiful yard on the whole entire block. But the number one way what people didn't know, because they were planting seeds and stuff too, and their yard and their lawn did not look like my grandfather's yard. And the reason is because my grandfather would not let us walk on the grass. We can plant all we want to and protect and get this car, baby. You gotta I give you an example. I'm a very popular guy, like in the area that I'm from, right? The old me is let my wife walk around by herself, just walk around, and there's 300 people in the room, and I'm trying to speak on stage. The new me right now, I'm going to get her a bodyguard. I don't think y'all understand why. It ain't the fact that I can't protect her. I need her to know in her mind that she is the most valuable woman in the room. And that's what a real man is about. And so that's why it didn't work. I take full responsibility on why my marriage didn't work out. Okay. I take 100 as a man.
Because you didn't give her a bodyguard? I didn't.
No. It's little small things like that can make a woman feel insecure. Mm-hmm. When you bring a woman in a room full of 100 other women and you talking and smiling and hee ha ha and all those women's faces.
You realize what you just said?
What did I say?
You took full responsibility, then you flip it around and said little things that make women insecure.
Yes, I can't take responsibility for your own insecurities. What I'm saying is,
so it's either you're taking the blame or you passing the blame.
No. Listen to me. I can't help it if you're insecure on the inside. What I can do is protect anything that I do that may trigger your insecurities in you. And I'm just telling you, if you're a pastor or a preacher or any person on here right now.
So it didn't work.
Hold on, let me finish it. Let me finish it out. If there's any woman on here that has ever talked to a high-profile guy, they will tell you that it is not the easiest job ever. Pastors, preachers' wives, mm-hmm. That is not an easy job to be able to stand up to. And so what I would say, as a man of high stature and integrity, I'm saying that I did not understand what I did not know, but I still take full responsibility. And I'll tell you, in my next situation, that's definitely not happening. She will be the most protected woman in the room. You did.
All right. So let me hear from Giovanni. Giovanni, you're.
I'm here. All right. So initially, I just want to answer in the hand, not giving any other information on the question. What I'm going to do now is actually tell you the truth. Remember, I said there's only three things that can't be hidden for long: the sun, the moon, and now the. So dating is for women, right? This is not dating is for women, all right? This is going to ruffle some feathers. Is agree with Koran. They're both speaking from two different points, but I agree with both of them. They're both facts. Dating is for women, and I'll say it for this. Men, women become official. For the female, that has become official on a particular date. For the man, he knows this girl from way new. From he locked eyes on her without a point, but in the first interaction, he knew this was the girl he wanted to be with. So this is not even news. In how much he started dating with him today, in his mind, he was 6 months ago. This is old, right? And I said it for this reason in particular. Dating this woman gives women a chance to become comfortable and get to know you, right? Because obviously it's a scare to lock in with someone and you don't know anything about him, and men can protect this and can also be dangerous. To get comfortable with you as an individual and say, hey, can I rely on him? Relinquish the protective nature of myself around him and go sitting around him. This is what dating does. Dating is also an opportunity for men.
But isn't that the same thing for men? Around. Isn't that the same thing for men? Doesn't it give a man the same sort of opportunities to find out whether or not this woman is going to be suitable for me? Or are you saying that the minute that we see a woman, you kind of know without knowing her family, without knowing whether or not what you see is real, whether, you saying to me whether or not what she presents to you in the beginning is this sort of facade, and then you take her home and sleep with her for a couple of days or stay at her home. You're saying to me that we shouldn't have. You're saying that we shouldn't have those as men. We aren't supposed to sort of check these women out for long periods of time to determine their suitability.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, okay, what you're describing, courting phase, right? That's the courting phase. All of that getting to know her family and stuff, because her family is irrelevant in the dating realm. I don't care to know her. I'm trying to get her. Now she's progressed to the courting phase. Now this is where I deep dive into, okay, do I want to see myself with her? I'm going to get to know her family. Do we connect? Do things in sync? Do we have similar family structures? This is where stuff happens. And I say that for a reason, because for men, dating is beneficial to man in the instance where, I'm sorry, dating is only beneficial to man in the instance where it gives an excuse to do what we please and don't have to be accountable to it. Because as man, if I'm saying I'm dating Susan, or I'm dating Jessica, dating whatever her name is, it gives me a chance to shop around with anything. For women, you guys looking for more of an intentional. These guys I like, and also some women use it for opportunities. Opportunity, or I could date 5 guys, have 5 meals through Friday. I don't get dated. She knows within herself. Thursday, it's a guy that's important, but you know what? She's looking for a meal on Monday, meal on Tuesday, on Wednesday. Hey, women are opportunistic.
Okay, so let's get back to let's get back to this conversation, because we are talking about the dating phase, and I want to move.
I just like how these guys contradict themselves in their conversation.
Well,
there's no contradiction there. I describe dating to you.
I just love it. It is
okay.
hilarious.
And now I'm giving you the
it's
facts.
hilarious.
But again, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back to this, guys. We're going back to the dating phase, and when we talk about dating, I'm looking at this definition of evaluating the suitability of a partner for a future intimate relationship. The question is, while you're in this phase of evaluating, I think that's the first phase you talk about. You said it was dating, because courting, you said, is once you get past the dating phase, Giovanni. Should you be able, in the dating phase, should you be able to see others? I think what you're saying is that you should be. Banks T is here with us tonight. She's back here with us tonight. She and most of the, I'll read some of the comments. She's saying dating should be exclusive from start to finish. I think we're agreeing with Koran. You're saying yes?
Yeah, because it's not real, and so let me clarify.
Well, that's not. Well, here's the thing. That's not dating. That's called commitment. Commitment should be exclusive. Commitment is.
I think we all have different things, because, like, in my head, like, to be honest, what some people call dating in my head is called playing around. I know I don't want to be with you.
No,
you know what I mean?
No, because here's the thing. Okay, so here I want to look at a couple more comments, and what you're saying is going to take me to my second question. But one of the other commenters here, Albany Gators, says, in the beginning, when you first meet, you are trying to figure out if the person is what you're looking for. If they meet your standard and all values align, then you can focus on that person. That's moving into that second phase, that courting phase that I think Giovanni is saying. So again, when we look at this idea, I think most people are getting this idea of what dating is. Even the women are starting to say, or sort of feel that yes. I think most men also find in that phase that having the opportunity to sort of bounce around gives them an opportunity. Banks T again says, what happens when you date 2? She's asking a question. What happens when you date 2 or 3 people and they are all good people with a lot to offer? How do you effectively... Someone's going to get hurt. She said, how do you effectively choose? Let's look at this question. How do you effectively choose between them and know how much of yourself to give each person without doing too much?
Fail. It can't happen.
It's going to fail. It's going to fail.
Well, in that case, she is too vested.
Yeah.
So
I don't have time.
You're going to fail. As a male, you're going to fail.
So the minute that she feels, okay, well, all these guys are good. In reality, let me put it out there, most men may not believe it. But when a woman dates, high chances are she's only dating that guy. high chances are
Agreed.
she's only. You all may not believe it.
In the
You
middle,
all may not
in this
believe it
modern, in this
Whoa.
modern
because
era,
hold on. Because Gino
Whoa.
has this mindset of
in the,
the Tuesday guy, the Monday guy, the food guy, or
Most
whoever, or the ride guy.
Definitely.
I don't.
I'm not saying that all women don't, all women subscribe to that. See, because y'all get it mixed up. Start to use the word some. But
I didn't hear
most
anybody
women,
say all.
or,
Koran didn't say all. Tevin didn't
or-
say all. None of us said all.
or
Give descriptions.
could I finish?
You can, but be
Okay, thanks. Because I obviously I need your permission. So I'm just saying,
No one said.
from my observation, you're gonna let me talk? Because when you talk, I'm
go,
quiet.
guys. Let's go, guys.
As
Let's
long
move
as
the
you speak
conversation
correctly,
along.
speak.
Let's move the
It's,
conversation along.
let him have the floor, Mark.
Okay, I'll have the floor. Here's the next question I have for you, because this is what it says: is intimacy in dating synonymous with or to a commitment in the dating situation? When you start to become intimate, is that synonymous, or is it confused with I'm in a committed relationship with you? Because see, and I ask this question because when we look at dating, at this dating phase and this finding out whether someone is suitable, there are a lot of people who want to test ride the car, test drive the ride to see if this is a suitable ride for me. And so when you find that, you know, in the first 2 weeks or 3 weeks after you see someone, you want to test ride it, you know, is it sometimes women sort of take this intimacy or sort of align that with with it being synonymous to us being in a relationship?
I got something to say on this. Listen, like I know we're talking about dating and all that, but a part of this is marriage. I think every woman wants to date.
We're moving towards marriage. I don't want to jump to marriage too quick. We understand marriage.
But this is the. I'm just bringing this up. I'm just bringing.
Hold on, Koran. Because remember, this is trials of dating and marriage. You have to go through one to get to the other.
Yes.
In the
so
modern,
we're on the same page.
So I don't want to.
This is
so
what
the
I'm
question
saying.
on the table right now is: are we confusing? Is intimacy synonymous to commitment in a dating situation?
First of all, the direct answer to that particular question is intimacy does not have to do anything with commitment at all. If I'm speaking from a guy's point of view, it should be. We've lowered our standards. And so this is why I'm saying dating is not real. Modern day dating is not real. You're setting, I'm talking to my ladies today. Shouts out to all the ladies that's on here today. Send some fire emojis up because I'm advocating for y'all. But I'm telling you, if you want to go in your dating, and we're going to talk about marriage next or whatever, the way you date me is the way that I look at from my lens is how our marriage will be. You're supposed to give me a sneak peek or a preview to the married life, or at least a glimpse of that. Here's the one thing I'm gonna say. As a king, I'm coming second to no one. If you got your attention with 5 different guys and I call you and text you, and you spending a whole day waiting to text me back or call me or spend time with me because you got to divide that time up, you are X'd out completely. So even if you are that woman, he could very much want to marry you and all that. But the number one thing that men want is to be put as a priority. And if I feel like you talking to all these different guys and I'm nothing, then go ahead, baby girl. Talk to different 5 other guys. I got another woman that's mine that I got to get to. You're not mine. I know you're not mine because if I know that you're mine and you don't know if I'm yours and you want to test out, baby girl, go ahead and test out. I'm on something totally different. I am a man of intention. I date, whatever you call that, or court with intention. I see what I want. I'm gonna court you. If that don't work out, then we out. We can back out. But ultimately, this is what it comes down to.
So let me ask you this question. I hear you. I hear you again. So you spend 5 years courting this one individual and it doesn't work out after 5 years. Could you not have split your time up among 3 or 4 different women and find out in a shorter space of time that maybe this one is more suitable and this one I'm going to try and spend for 5 years. I think when we're looking at this rainbow of opportunity.
Yeah. No, so that was the younger me. I was 19 years old. I'm 40 now. I'm 40 years grown right now. If I get married, I'm getting married within 8 months. Like, I don't need no time to just figure this out. What are we waiting on? Like, either I want to be with you or I don't want to be with you, or we can figure out what we are. What I'm saying is that as women and men, we got to raise up the moral standard.
Listen, we
got to quit wasting people's time. We've been playing games.
Let me give you an experience I had. I had been seeing somebody when we were younger. We had been seeing someone. I had been seeing someone, and she moved away, and we've been separated for a long space of time. And we happened to meet up a few years ago. I'm telling you, man, she is, because I thought I was moving into that sort of marriage phase of life, and she was I thought she would have been perfect. I mean, she was one of the most beautiful, I don't even know how to describe her, and she's always been that way. And, my thing was, we've been apart for a little while. I'd like to get to know you a little bit, because I don't want to just jump into something, even though I felt like she would make a good wife. But I didn't want to jump into something after 20 something years of being apart. And, she wanted that sort of automatic commitment, like right then. And I'm saying, that's not a good thing to do. I can't give a commitment to you if we've been separated for almost 20 years or so, and we're just getting back together. I got to spend some time and get to know you. But at the same time, there may have been other people in my life. And, and I'm not going to just drop everything. You don't think that's a fair thing to say? Or
I would honestly say that you first of all, do you even want to be married would be the question. Do you want to actually be married?
I most definitely do. But one of the things for me is I have to make sure, we talked about this last week. I don't believe that, while I'm still on the road to trying to get the things that I would like to bring a wife into, I would like to have those things in place before I do decide to settle down.
As a person that was with somebody for 17 years, you could try to pick the best, perfect whoever right now. They could be wrapped up in a bow. When you get past 10 years, which is 10 years is the average lifetime of a friendship, just any friendship, not even intimate, just best friends. When you get going down that road, you're going to be a different person. She's going to be a different person. So guess what? It don't even matter who you pick right now. You got to make a decision that we're going to stay together, put God in the middle, and we not quitting. Other than that, if you're dating, everybody's going to change. So it don't even matter. You could pick somebody that's all broken and y'all can wedge that thing together if you keep God in the center. What I'm saying is if we keep on trying to figure everything out, I'm telling you, I'm not the same 18-year-old that I was when I was 18. I'm 40 now. And so at this particular point in time in my particular life, I feel like as long as we got the same goals and the same guidelines and things are somewhat okay, I literally know people that have had the biggest weddings with their dream person, and I've seen their marriages fall before mine did. I know courthouse weddings that people just went on the spot and let's go, and they went 20 years because know why?
Great, but here's the question. I understand all of these things, but here's the question on the floor.
Mm-hmm. For those people who like, this is about those persons who like to date. I'm not right now, again, I'm not talking about the exception. So you got to pretend, Koran. Dating is not real.
Hold on. But if this isn't for you, then you got to sit out of this conversation.
No, but listen. Okay, I want to say one thing.
No, hold on. Before you say one thing, I want to say one thing too. This conversation is for those individuals out there who are dating, who do date. So we're looking at, and that's the majority of individuals. You know, the majority, not the exception. We're talking about the rule. Whether we believe in it or not, there are a great number of individuals out there dating. Dating, I think we established by the definition, is a process of determining suitability. If your method for determining suitability is to just go with one individual and court that person, that's your method. Some people may have a different method. So we're looking at all the spectrums here. And the question is, for those of us, because this is those of us that are out there, or those people that are out there dating, I want to know, in particular from a female perspective, because you typically find that once a female, and not all, some females, once you start to become intimate with them, in some ways, that's synonymous with I'm in a committed relationship with you. When women give their bodies to you, they do it with the idea that there's commitment here. And we're saying in the dating phase, do we sometimes get into issues as men when we lay with women and give them the impression that we're starting to get into a committed relationship with them by having sex with them? Gio?
Just want to jump in right there for a second. Keeshan, just want to let you know I'm not coming for you, okay? I'm not coming for you. You're safe. You're the only female here. You're safe. I just wanted to make sure.
I don't feel attacked.
Just want to make sure. I just want to let you know that I just want to make sure.
Trust me, Gio, if you was coming to me, you would have feel it.
We don't mean all females. That's all I'm trying to be clear on. We don't mean all females. So when I mentioned the whole Monday, Wednesday to Friday, I'm not speaking to all females. I'm only speaking to, a small percentage. Just like how you have some bad apples with men, you have some bad apples with women. Now, with that being said, right, Mr. Holmes, you mentioned dating, and there's a reason why I said dating is really for women. And the reason why I said this because I feel like dating puts women out on a ledge where there's danger. Like Koran mentioned, the whole test driving analogy, right? I don't believe that women should have to go through a phase like that for a long, extended period of time. Most men already know or have a greater part of an idea of what they want. What dating does is gives women this danger zone parameter where a lot of men are just hopping in and out and selling dreams and making them feel comfortable enough to just open themselves up. So what I'm saying is that it's only beneficial to men really because a lot of men out there are not dating with intention. They only want these women for sexual desires and needs. So with that being the case, women need to hold men more accountable and dating should not be an extended phase. It shouldn't be. After a short period of time, there needs to be courting or nothing. Or nothing. Because anything over a week or two, he is literally wasting time. I'm telling you, he's wasting time. Men know what they want. We know what we want. I saw my girl and I can tell you from within 5 minutes, I knew she was the one. I'm not confused. I know. Everything else after that was literally just comfort. I knew from onset, from eyes locked, I knew she was the one. I'm not confused. There's nothing that you could tell me that'll change my mind. That's what it is. Anything outside of that, any girl I'm dating along with that is literally I'm just playing. I know I'm not taking them serious. I know from the onset, this is the game. You're here for the ride. You will never get the ring.
So you saying to me that women are not aware of this?
What I'm saying is that it's not a fault of women, but women just like men, but more importantly in this topic, women can be suckers for illusion of love. This idea that men put on because men are brilliant actors. Brilliant. We spend our whole lives hunting. Don't forget now, men are hunters. So we are masters of deception. We do this for a living. We have to be good.
Hey, listen, man.
So if you want to protect women,
wait, hold up, wait. I gotta put. Men are masters of deception. What is that?
Masters of deception.
How do you arrive at that? How do you arrive at that example? I don't want an example. I want to know how do you arrive at that conclusion?
I'll tell you how.
Are you talking about some men? Are you talking about all men?
All men have the potential to be masters of deception. All men.
Facts.
Now, some men actively work in deception, and others know the power and yield it and choose not to use it. But all men have the potential to act in deception. All. We all do.
All
And we
humans do.
decide which female is going to get our real loyalty and rewards and earnings and the things that we can bring to the table, and who's just going to get played. Who's just going to get played? We decide that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you on that part. But you're saying that at the end of the day, women are not aware of this, and why? So
I'll say this, right? I'll say this, and we can smile about this after. I'll say this. Women are very much aware of what's going on. They are. Have you ever heard the saying, a woman could catch you cheating, but she still has to hear you say it? She still has to hear you say the words. She has seen you in the act, but she has to hear the words. Because sometimes it's honestly such in disbelief that she just needs to confirm for herself with your words that, hey, yes, this is exactly what you saw. And it's all a fallacy of the love, because women act out of emotions, right? It's not a fault of their own, but they act out of emotions. And these emotions can be detrimental to them if not harnessed and met with logic.
Help us out here, Tevin, because Giovanni ain't making us sound too good here tonight.
Well, different layers.
Check your mic. Check your mic, Tevin.
Oh, I'm saying there are different layers to intimacy, right? You have sexual intimacy, emotional intimacy, spiritual intimacy, and academic intimacy, sapiosexuals, right? So what I would say is the longer this conversation goes on, the more I feel bad or the more saddened I am by our society. When you think about the Eastern Hemisphere or how people do their type of courtship and how they handle relationship in the Eastern part of the world, in accordance to the Western part of the world, you see that free range is, you having free range to do whatever you want is actually bad for society. One of the things that, I mean, Koran right here, he's a high value man, and we have to dive into the definition of what a high value woman is. Most of us would think that a high value woman is, you have that level of purity. You have that level of innocence where even if you're touched, you haven't been touched to the point of destruction. Physically, emotionally, and mentally. Some of these women are so damaged to the point of no return. And so no matter how intimate you are with this person, you might feel like, when you say is intimacy synonymous with being a committed relationship, they don't even feel a thing. You see what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is this level of free range and you do whatever you want to do, that's actually the thing that's breaking our families and breaking our society. We need to have set boundaries of, okay, if I am intentionally pursuing you, I'm courting you, and we have any level of intimacy, then that should mean that we are in a relationship.
Well, that's my question. Should it be synonymous with a commitment? Here's the question. Do you think women give it up too easily?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, by all means.
Feminism.
Especially the ones who aren't serious. You see, especially the ones that aren't serious, they give it up the fastest.
I'm talking about those ones who are seriously looking for those long-term relationships, those husbands. In the process, you think they give it up to men too easily with the hope, with the thinking that, this is what's gonna get him?
Just like what Gio said, women know when you are the one. Some women have that idea a woman instinct. She know when you're bad for her. She knows it. And she know when you mean her good. But does that mean that she wants you, the good one, that's actually good for her?
So
majority of women don't know.
I'm trying to understand what it is you're saying to me tonight, Tevin. Because what I'm
saying is,
because the question I had was, do women give it up? I guess it's the idea that the woman's power is in sex. The man is the gatekeeper to relationships and commitment and marriage, and the woman is the gatekeeper to sex. And do you think with that sort of superpower that she has, do you think that, in an attempt to attract a man or keep a man or get this man she thinks is right? Do you think they give it up too easily?
I think so. Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
Could I interject?
Sure, most definitely.
When we hear women giving it up too easy, I'm sure you would have heard stories, you would have known people, whether family, friends, who would say, well, hey, we had sex on the first night. You see, they were in long-lasting relationships and marriages. So I don't think
the majority of one night stand end in baby daddy, baby mama relationships.
I'm not
The
disputing that, but I just don't want us to leave out the fact that it's a possibility the person who you have sex the same night you meet could be your lifetime partner.
Slim to none. Slim to none. We know this.
Okay, it's a possibility. I'm not saying this is something that you see on a regular, but there are stories where people they meet, they had sex on the first night of dating.
And that was it.
Keeshan, can I say something?
That's all you that was all you wrote.
I want to make one stance. That's it. One statement. All right. There's a possibility of everything in this life.
Indeed.
All right. So I don't like to argue in possibilities. I like to argue in probabilities, because possibilities hold little weight in situations where, okay, 99% chance, probable. 1% chance, possible. I find too often people, I'm not even gonna say women, people argue in anomalies. But there is a chance you have tons of women out there waiting on that 1% man. Because it is a possibility. But is it probable? No. Because the reality is, how many 1% man are there that are not gay, not committed, and are
Y'all
actually
listen to so much Kevin Samuels. Kevin Samuels.
It's so limited. So you have tons of women out there waiting on 1% of men. And then you wonder why men are juggling women.
There's a lot of Kevin Samuels tonight.
You make it so easy. My goodness.
Kevin Samuels rest. But I get what you're saying. I get your point.
So again, I hear all of you guys, and I still don't hear anybody. I didn't hear anybody.
Okay,
I guess the answer is yes.
The minute I initiate intimacy,
no one never answers the question. That's what everyone has come with all these long drawn out, like no one has never just answered the question.
The minute I initiate intimacy, that means I want to be committed with you.
That was going to be my question to each one of you. Once you start having sex with a girl, does it mean that you are in a committed relationship?
Negative.
Have you ever been in a situation where the girl sees it as a committed relationship?
Mark, I'll say this.
And I'll say, let me finish.
I bet they'll say yeah.
And once you've done that, she says you can't see anybody else because me and you juicing.
Mark, I'll say this, right? And this is how women really know and find out the truth of the matter. For women, the real race starts after sex. What a guy does after sex is his true intentions. Because at this point, you've lost negotiating power. You no longer have anything to negotiate with. Before sex, your negotiating power is sex. After sex, you have nothing left to negotiate. So if he still is hanging around, it's because you have more to offer than sex. The problem with our society today is that you have a lot of women who offer nothing but sex. And then after sex, you leave and the guy leaves and you're wondering, where did he go? But you didn't offer anything besides sex. So he got that. He said, thank you. And he's on to the next. You have to offer more than sex to get more than sex. That's the reality.
So what about the women that offer sex and more and still get left? Then what?
If they offer more,
if a guy chooses to leave, if a woman chooses to leave, she chooses to leave. Because a woman could come into a relationship and say, all right, I get money from this fella. All right, he paying my rent. Okay, I feel like he ain't keeping up with this. And she could choose to leave because all he has to offer is money. He ain't got no deck.
Sean,
then what?
Can I ask you a
You
question?
got-
So let's just don't make it one-sided is what I'm saying. Don't
No,
make it
it's
seem
not
as
one
if
sided. It's not one
don't
sided.
make
Okay,
it
so-
seem don't make it seem as if
Means that
a woman, a guy only leaves because a woman only has sex to offer. Some
Okay.
women offer sex and more and everything a guy may want, but she's just not who he wants.
Okay,
Okay, so
okay.
here's-
She's just not
Exactly.
settling down.
Keeshan,
Okay.
Exactly.
let me ask you one
Now
question.
listen,
That's
listen,
all.
Keeshan, ask one
listen,
question.
So
listen.
don't make it
Ask one
seem
question,
as
one
if
question.
a woman
We can
loses.
move on from this
What
question.
do men want, Keeshan? What do men want?
Answer what women want, Tevin.
No,
Okay.
no.
Yes,
All right.
tell me
So
what
why you
men
want to
want.
ask me that question?
men and
No,
women.
answer
Question
mine.
with a question,
Let me
Keeshan.
answer
Come
that
on,
question.
Keeshan.
Men
So
and
Keeshan,
women.
you know better than
Tevin
Men-
can't answer what women want. So why you want to ask me what a man want? I look like a man.
I could tell
But
you
you
what.
ask
You
I
should
look like
know
I
what.
have that. I
You're
got that.
interested in
All right,
men.
ladies
You
and
should know what
gentlemen,
men want.
time out.
I'm gonna
Next.
get you, Keeshan.
Okay, time out now. All right, so one at a time, yes or no, and we move on to this next question. Tevin, intimacy synonymous with commitment. Shouldn't be any intimacy in a dating relationship unless you're ready to make a commitment. Yes or no?
No, there should be any.
Koran,
Nope.
no intimacy unless
Nope.
you're ready to make a commitment.
Yep.
Gio, no intimacy unless you're ready to make a commitment.
Agreed.
Keeshan, you feel the same way? No intimacy unless you're ready to make a commitment. It's synonymous.
For me or in general?
Well, for you.
All right, for me, I agree. No intimacy.
So, ladies and gentlemen out there, if you're listening to us, I think it's a unanimous decision. You can get in problems with whoever it is if you're giving it up without a commitment from the individual. Make sure that when you do, when he asks you for it, make sure that he's ready to commit
That's
to
yours.
you.
That's mine.
Make sure that he's ready.
Guys, I'm sorry.
Make sure that he's ready to give it up. That's our best advice to you out there, women. Don't find yourself in a situation where you are giving it up to a fella who's not prepared to be committed to you. That's the general consensus. Next question on the floor. During this dating process, both men, again, do you agree? I don't want to lead anybody in the question, but do both men and women mask who they really are? And if so, why? During the dating process, do both men and women mask who they really are and why?
I think I'm telling you, a guy, when he wants to marry you, he knows what he wants to do with you from the first. Even if you're a sex partner, or if you just want to go out to dinner with, whether you just, I want you to go and make me look good at a party, I know already what I want to do. It don't take you long. So yes, guys are masking exactly who they are, because they know if they tell the truth and say, I just want to have sex with you and I have no other intentions with you, that woman is more likely not going to give him what they want. Now that's a bad thing. But I'm saying majority of people, or guys particularly, they are lying to you. They know exactly what they want you for from the first interaction within the first 5 minutes. Gio said the same thing too.
Okay. Well, anybody, Tevin? Do both men and women, do women, you feel, have you ever met, do women mask who they really are?
I think men mask who they really are more than women.
Okay.
So
that takes me to the second question. Is there one gender that wears a mask more than the other?
I think men do so more regularly than women. I think, well, it's my belief. I'm probably
okay. What leads you to say that?
Why I think men, because men, as Gio would say, men are more dangerous in their pursuits. Like, especially if they don't want to come in a relationship and they want to see how much women they can juggle, they're not going to show who they really are. They just want you for that, and they sometimes they'll ask you, what are you looking for in a man? That's a set-up question. What are you looking for in a man? And when you tell me I could be that, so I could be who you want me to be. You see what I'm saying?
Is that you think most men are like that, or is that some men? Well, I guess it is some men.
Most men are like that. Yeah, I think so.
Rose Lily said some men just can't satisfy.
I think most men mask how they truly feel more than women.
Keeshan, I think this was a question you was interested in knowing.
Well, I wholeheartedly agree that men mask who they truly are. Men tend to mirror who they feel a woman wants them to be. So that's why you tend to find early on in any exchange that the honeymoon stage is always sweet. They do all the things, they say all the things, they do all the things that a woman wants, and then eventually over time they show their true self. But one of the things I want to make mention, Koran made a statement that if men tell women who they truly are, then chances are she would not fool with them. If we look at the Bahamas, for example, the sweethearting rate is over the roof. Name me one person or name me one married man who don't have a sweetheart. She went and that the other woman went out with full intentions of being with a man who has a whole woman. So you tell me, if a man wasn't true to say, hey, well, this is what I got going on, she still made that decision. All right, I know he has someone, but she's still gone in there full head on to give herself, whether intimately or as a friend or shoulder to cry on, whatever. But I think if men are honest with women, you would find that some women kind of sometimes accept you for what you want, accept you for who you are, if you are honest. Some women can't handle the truth, mind you. But I feel if a man is open and honest from the get-go, then we save a lot of headache and drama.
But you find when you look at statistics, you find that women cheat in almost the same numbers that men do as well. So cheating is just not exclusive to men. It's almost equal rates that women cheat as well.
I could kind of agree with that. Men cheat because they can, because there is always a woman to cheat with. They cheat because they can. They have that.
But I'm saying women are cheating. So why are women cheating?
I'm not saying. I think women cheat because there's a lack with that man, whether financially.
What? So you don't feel that men cheat. You don't feel that men also cheat because the woman is lacking something as well.
No, let me tell you something. Mark, I am around a lot of men on the daily, and they would tell you that sex ain't lacking, cooking ain't lacking. She's supportive, she tug it over them, but that's just their vice. They still want to go out there and do what they gotta do because they can.
That's not true all the time.
You say it's not true, Koran.
No.
I feel.
It's not true.
I feel.
Put me in, coach.
Listen, there's always a woman, whether y'all want to believe it or not. I mean, I find it hard that y'all are disagreeing. Whether y'all believe it or not, men cheat because they have access to do that. There's always a woman out there.
Because
there's always a woman out there willing to be that person for him.
But you don't think women see that there are options?
I am not saying that women aren't cheating.
No,
women aren't cheating because there are multiple men out there waiting to just be with her. She is cheating because her man lacks in the area. That's all. I'm not saying for some men it ain't that case, but most men cheat because they have the ability, they have that access to do just that.
Let me ask you this question. should the only reason a woman cheat is because a man lacks that in the
I'm
area
not
of
saying
sex?
that is, oh no, I'm not saying. Some women cheat because they can't help themselves.
Well, I'm asking, okay, but you know, we're saying it's usually because a man is lacking. So you cheat, and is it usually lacking in the sex area that they cheat?
I wouldn't say predominantly sex.
Okay,
women are emotional creatures. So the minute, let's just say she likes to cuddle and talk and she wanna, feel that embrace. But you're not that kind of guy, or you're not giving her love language. And then here comes Joe Blow, who she might have met, however, might have been someone from her past, might have been someone who she met recently, giving her or filling that void.
Is that an excuse? Is that an excuse?
I'm not saying is an excuse. No, there's no excuse.
Okay.
I don't condone in cheating, but I'm just saying these are the scenarios that tend to play out.
Okay, let's Giovanni wants to jump in here.
Yeah. Let Gio go.
Coach, I on the side of the ring right now. I'm just waiting to go, man. Keeshan, you light me up with the foolishness right now, man. Wow, you speaking on behalf of man now? This is wild. Anyways, Coach, you put me in. Let me speak.
Just like how you were trying to do the CMA. Okay.
I don't know what's going on here.
Okay.
This is foolishness. Let me tell you how this thing go, man. This
all right,
garbage,
Professor.
Right?
Take the floor.
Man,
let him go.
Men do not cheat because they can. Men cheat when they can. When the opportunity is given and they choose to take it. Men cheat when they can.
But
this is some utter delusion. Hold up, Keeshan. I got the floor now. It's small. It's my time now. All right? I got this.
I'm a size 5, baby. I have no other choice but to sit small.
You guys make sure your mic, because your mics are kind of low. Make sure you're close to your mic.
Gents, I got us, man. I don't know what's going on there. Okay, so ladies have the opportunity to cheat when they can, or whenever they feel like it.
Not you speaking on behalf of women, then. Not you.
Let me.
That's your chance. No. He don't get the chance to tell me I can't speak on behalf of women. But hear him and his suit talking about women. No. Stick with the man. Stick with the man, baby. Don't let's go there. Don't get up a second, okay? Put the emotion in the back. No. Emotion? Okay? No, Gio, you gotta be fair.
If we got a lot of questions. We got a lot of questions.
And if you want to be fair, I'll always interrupt you. If you don't want to be fair.
We got a lot of questions on the floor. We got to get to tonight.
Koran, you have anything to say?
Listen to Keeshan's explanations, okay? Keeshan said, men cheat because they can, and women cheat because of men. Listen to the excuses, the other excuses. There's no accountability here, and I'm so tired of listening to women give excuse upon
excuse. Hold on, pause. Let me make it. No. Because if you are going to quote me correct, baby. If you are going to quote me correct. I said no. If you are going to quote me correct.
You are going to make
quote me correct.
You are going to make your point.
Okay.
All right, I gotta bring some order. I gotta bring some order, ladies and gents. All right, we got an audience out there that's trying to be informed by the conversation. They're not gonna be informed by the conversation if we're shouting over each other. So I need us to take a step back for a minute. Keeshan,
get you some water.
Get some water. Get a pen. Get a paper. Hold on. Wait, Keeshan, we can't hear you yet. I'm just gonna give you both you and Giovanni. I got y'all on timeout. Get a pen and a paper. Write down the comments that someone is saying, and then let's get at it. All right. So right now, Keeshan, you're my co-host. I'm gonna give you Giovanni. Just step back for a minute. Let me give my co-host the floor so she could sort the situation out from the women's perspective, and then I'm gonna give you the floor. Once I give you the floor, nobody interrupts. Nobody interrupts Keeshan. Nobody interrupts Giovanni. Let's go.
Okay.
Keeshan,
the young man was quoting me incorrectly. Don't make it seem as if I am saying I'm blaming men for
Give us
why
the
women
right-
cheat.
Give us the
I
right
made
quote.
mention that is one of the reasons women cheat. Then you have some women who cheat because they just want to cheat. So don't leave that part
Okay.
out.
Here's the question I'm going to ask. Which one is the exception? Which one is the rule?
Ain't no exception, ain't no rule. It
Yes,
is what it is.
Because what we're talking about is, I want you to, in your mind, which one is the majority? Those women who cheat because they want to, or those women who cheat because of men? When we look
They
at
cheat because there's a lack.
there's a lack in equally, they cheat because there's a lack. And okay, so let's stop right there. Giovanni?
And that's me speaking on behalf of women.
Sure. They cheat because they're lack. So we're not going to say, we're saying that because men are lacking. That's why they're cheating.
The relationship is lacking. Relationship is two. So she feel her man isn't providing and Joe comes along and he got the money. Then she need money. She go with
Let me ask you this question.
So if
here's
Joe
the question,
lacking,
because what we're talking about, and I think what Giovanni is sort of getting to is you have to take responsibility for your action. You can't say the devil made me do it. If you find that there is a lack in the relationship, why stay to cheat? Why don't you just get out?
Okay, where I think Gio is getting me wrong, and I don't want you to get me wrong. I am not condoning in it. I am just stating what it is. Don't say
again. Here's my question, though. Here's my question. So, I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying if a woman is in a relationship where she finds that her man is lacking, why not just leave the relationship as opposed to cheat?
People, I don't know why.
So
people decide to stay, just like how a man decides to be in a marriage and cheat, but he don't want to let go. He don't want to let go because my wife possessed. My wife possessed all of the things I want. I've invested so many years, so many times.
I'm not talking about the man now. I'm talking about
the woman. I'm just saying, for those reasons, people think of. So she might say, I've invested years and time into this with this man. We don't have all these churn.
Why did you cheat?
People cheat for whatever reason, and why they stay and why they decide to be dishonest. It all boils down to them. Okay, there's no one set answer.
So should that woman, again, here's my question, I guess I'm getting to.
No, because in any situation and any relationship, people weigh the good and the bad.
Sure. So here's my, I'm not disagreeing with you. What I'm asking is, once you weigh the good and the bad, should you not accept responsibility for
you should.
Okay, so I think that's, so this is where I'm going to bring Gio in on the conversation, because I think that's the point he was getting to, is that why not just own up to your cheating as opposed to saying, I did it because the man was lacking. Am I correct, Gio? You come on in the conversation now.
What you guys just saw and witnessed just now was an example of how you respectfully wait your turn. Keeshan, take it. What I'm now going to do is finish my point. You got an example, use that example you got. What I was saying was, a lot of women tend to lack accountability for their actions. As a man, you have no choice but to be accountable. Life is your accountability. If you aren't accountable, you will suffer for lack of accountability in the next steps to happen after you've made a certain action. You don't have a choice but to be accountable. Accountability comes in every realm for us. The topic here is, why do people cheat and who cheats more, men or women, right? What I was addressing was, men cheat when they can. Men do not control sex. Women control sex. Therefore, a man cannot just step out and cheat whenever he feel like it. The opportunity has to be available for him to cheat. Now, you have different classes of men. I think what Keeshan was speaking to, and I'll let her speak and correct me when I'm done. Not before, when I'm done. What Keeshan was speaking to was a certain tier of men. That tier of men, they have access to a certain amount of available amount of women that all men don't have. The average man can't just step in and cheat whenever he feel like it. The opportunity has to arise. Women, on the other hand, control sex. So because women control sex, women can have sex whenever they choose to. Now, women cheat for emotional reasons. Men cheat predominantly off of instinct. It's called lack of dick discipline. or for cleaner term, lack of male organ discipline. Okay, that's why men cheat. Those men that cheat are undisciplined, and I'm trained to be monogamous and faithful to their partner. But you can't compare those men to other men. Men for the broader spectrum cheat, like I said, when there's an opportunity that's arise. Women cheat emotionally. So you cannot use the excuse, hey, I cheated because my man wasn't giving me attention. My man, he promised me a certain lifestyle, X, Y, and Z. Like Mr. Humes mentioned, like Mark mentioned, if the situation isn't working for you, I believe the first step should be communication. So if you start to see yourself going down a certain road, the idea is that you want this relationship to work or this marriage to work, for better or for worse, right? That's the idea. That's the mindset. So therefore, the first sign of difficulty should not be, okay, now I'm going to cheat. The mindset should be, okay, if things aren't appearing to be what I thought they were going to be, I'm going to communicate with my partner, and we're going to see how best we're going to fix or resolve this.
Should that be on both sides? Should that be on both sides, Jim?
Most definitely. I'm not
just gonna ask this question of the women if there's something wrong, why cheat? I'm also saying to the men,
Agreed.
If there's something wrong, why cheat? Why don't you just leave the relation? Why don't you just leave the relationship? And don't blame it on, well, this is, we're just hunters.
Agreed.
That's an excuse. That's an excuse as well.
It's no excuse. Okay. Here's the thing on that, right? A lot of men are selfish. So this isn't even about, oh, there's the reason. More times than none, Mark, there isn't a reason. There's no excuse. There's no one to blame it on. Men just simply act out of their own impulse, and they're acting out of selfishness because they want to have their cake and eat some cake on the side. It's selfish behavior. It's undisciplined behavior. That's the reason behind it. There's no reason.
You find that's you, because sometimes you'll find that there are a minority group of individuals that are doing this, and then we all get cast in that same net. Do you find that this?
Agreed.
Do you find that men in general, as a rule, is that the norm for men, or is that just a small group of guys that are giving us all a bad name?
What I'm going to say is, I don't like to speak on things I'm not 100% confident on or know my stats on. So that particular question, I am not 100% on. So I cannot say whether it's overall men, majority of men. What I can say, there are several reasons why a man can step out. That one is one of the more popular ones that I do know. Now, men can also use an excuse to say, oh, my wife probably wasn't engaging in enough intimacy, and this is why I stepped out. That is also a lack of accountability. Just keeping the playing fields even. Both sexes make excuses, and I don't tolerate any.
Is there forgiveness? Is there forgiveness? Is there forgiveness after cheating? Because again, let me tell you. Listen, because at some point, I don't want to make an excuse. At some point, you're gonna cheat, get it out of your system, and then there is that general remorse that I did this. I can't believe it. Should there be forgiveness? And in forgiveness, that means you put it behind you, because sometimes people forgive, but they always watch it. And the least little thing you do, that means you cheating. And is there forgiveness in this? And when we forgive, should we also? You can't forget, but should we be able to move on and trust openly again?
What I will say is this, and I will open the floor after I say this.
He was the host.
What I would say is, no, I'm not the host, but I will stop speaking.
Mark, don't forget, I have a 10:30.
Right?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's again. We agree that men wear masks more than women.
Agreed.
And the other thing was, what was the unintended consequences when we do this? Again, how does this? I guess the unintended consequence is the negative impact that it has on our relationship with our women. Whether it's a small group of men that are doing it, it is sort of seeping out into the general perception that that's who we are as men. Like you said, it's that general perception, and I just would say perhaps the unintended consequence is that it is impacting our relationships where we really don't trust each other that much. Here's the other question. Keeshan, I think this is a question you had. Is it more about a physical attraction? I guess this goes back there. Is it more of a physical attraction for men than it is for women when it comes to selecting a mate? Are we more, we more drawn to the physical more so than women are? Men? When it comes to Koran,
Yeah.
this is your question because you say once you see them, that's it.
I'm on it. Yeah. And so this is what I feel like what I've learned. So there's two different me's that you're talking to. So there's a young me and then there's an older me. The older me, I have not done it. It's like the older that you get, to be honest, and a lot more women will probably not be open to what I'm going to say just because they want to keep hoping and hoping and hoping and hoping and hoping and hoping and hoping. But if I had to talk, I talk to young kids. I'm a national youth motivational speaker. So the thing that I'm going to say is this: as a young person, don't give up nothing until that person wants to marry you. Point blank, period. This will fix a lot of stuff, right? The second thing that I would say is that the more people that you sleep with on both male and female side, particularly female, the more you're going to hurt yourself. So stop the dating stuff, stop all those different things, because like I'm telling you, guys they're gonna play you. They're gonna go get you. Answering directly to your question, the physical is definitely a big thing for me, but there is also a part of the spiritual for me, that even if you were just okay looking and you were just pretty, you were just okay. If you got something on the inside of you spiritually that could draw me into you, I'm locked in. I'm a spiritual being. So like beauty can leave. You could get into you could be with a woman and she in a car accident. Then what you gonna do? If you was with a woman and she's beautiful and you marry her and she get into a car accident, can't walk, and her face gets scratched up and she's not pretty anymore, then will you leave her? You're gonna be a sucker if you do that. So this is why I'm saying that I truly believe that when you get with somebody, you should stay with that person no matter what. These are the vows that we actually took, for better or for worse, for richer or poor, help do us part. The part that I'm having a issue with is, especially for me, even attempting to be married again, is because it's not that. Like when I get married, I say, I'm going to marry you whether you're not as pretty as you were, because your beauty is going to fade as a woman. It just is what it is. Your 80-year-old self is not going to look like your 20-year-old self. So I can't go off of looks and stuff like that, right? What I'm saying is that all I care about is when we say commitment, that means to the end. And I'm not judging anybody that's watching or any ladies that's watching. I don't feel like our generation has that. And that's what I guess the whole thing is about. Like are we even equipped? This generation is not our grandfather's, grandmother's generation. They quitting over whatever. If you don't got money, power, respect, you're done. You're getting cheated on. I'm telling you, it just is what it is.
Where do you think that comes from? What are we not doing right that this is what we're sort of becoming?
We soft, we quitting, and we lowering our standards, just like people talking about dating, and then I say dating is fake. Koran, you got it. Yeah. Ladies, you don't want to date. I'm telling you, listen, there's two me's in here. I'm just being 1,000. There's a leadership me in here that is always pursuing leadership. Like, that's who I am, the perfection of me. But then there's also the fallen nature in me. And I'm telling you, you do not want to go on a date with me. No, don't do it. Just don't. I'm just being honest. The person that you want is the good Koran. The person that wants to marry you, the person that wants to be with you. And you got to be able to display these things. But once again, I'm telling you, I think, going directly to your question, I think social media has messed it up, because when you're not putting me first, I can feel that as a man. And when you can go get that attention from posting a picture online and all these likes and talking to people and this, that, and other, I can feel that you're not in tune. You're giving my intimacy away. And I just don't honestly think that today's generation does not have the commitment, nor do they want to put anybody first. And so for that reason, I'm out.
You speak about being put first.
That's all I care about.
What exactly does that look like?
Being put first means I'm first over the kids, over everything. And most women ain't even gonna put me over the kids, especially if she didn't make the kids with me. If a woman that I meet already has 3 kids, she's not putting those 3 kids over me.
But what Okay, so again, what does that look like? Putting you
And I don't
first?
even expect her to. Putting me first means.
Are you saying that? Are you saying what does that look like? Saying that when you get home, that dinner should be ready to go,
I'm
that your
saying,
clothes should be ironed. What is
I
that?
like all those type of things.
Say what? Say what?
I mean, as far as me and my love language, something like that actually really appeals to me a whole lot. Like I've had women come over to my place before, and if my room, if my just and they just in the living room and everything's just all over the floor, they won't even pick up the clothes. They're, oh my God, this is place. You need to clean this place out. Well, sweetheart, listen. If I'm weak in an area and you see a problem and you know you got the solution, you could add a lot of value to me if you just would just simply go grab those clothes and put them into the washer and dryer and clean. I would. You don't understand how you can position yourself in that problem. And I want to listen, this is all it comes down to. Value comes into being a solution to my problems. That's it. Forget the cooking, the cleaning, the sex. Find out what my problems are and solve them. That's what value is to me. And if you can't solve my problems or bring value to my problem solving, you want to be like everybody else, then why would I want to give you that ring like that? Why would I want to be with you? And to be honest, hey, listen, I've been on a lot of dates. Rarely get a thank you. It don't matter if I take you to two.
Hold on. When you started going on all these dates, man, because you said you don't. Oh, I guess I remember. I remember what you said last week because your therapist had asked you.
I went. She told me to go on dates, and that's when I realized dating wasn't real. It's not real. Like I know exactly who I want to marry. If I see you instantly, wow, 5 minutes.
Okay, Tevin has a question or a comment.
No, I just want to expound on the question when he said when it comes to selecting a mate, women sometimes say that men are too superficial.
Yeah,
it's true. Well, for that part of the question, I think that's false, because I think that women are more superficial than men.
Tell me why.
Men realize quick. Men realize because I mean, like, woman idea of this love and this Cinderella mentality and I should come rescue you from the castle type of thing. When you're a man, especially at a younger age, you realize the competition that you have, and you realize this ain't a game. You have guys out there, people like Koran, high value men. They have more access to resources that these women need, and you as a young fellow trying to get in the game, you don't have access to these resources. You know what I mean? I read something the other day when this guy was like, you have 19 to 23-year-old girls being invited on mega yachts with these rich guys, and all they have to do is just wear a bikini, and that's actually encouraging these girls to get all these false things, all these false silicone, put something in their lips.
And let me add on to that. Let me add on that, Tevin. I really appreciate you for being honest on that. Because listen, I promise you, I'm a high value guy. If I was to take a girl on all these luxury vacations and give her everything she wants, right, for 6 months, she'll never even go back down and talk to a man that won't do the same thing as me. So what I'm trying to say is that
you think so?
No, not at all. She's not going. You can't.
You don't think? Listen.
No.
Let me tell you something, man.
She's not going back.
I think I may have a little bit more. I think I may have a little more age on you, because what you find, they may not. They're
not going to go back.
They listen.
Average guy.
They may go back because you may have that money, but you got some of these women who like these bad fellas, and while you giving her money, she hanging out with that bad fella, getting some business taken care of. So don't ever believe.
No. But listen. Listen at this though. Just as much as that bad fella is getting it from, I also can take his girl. I can take way more of his than he can take of mine. I tell you that.
But here's one of the things we have to look at. And Tevin, I don't get, because you were still in the middle of your conversation, Gio. I see you sort of sit up. That means you got something to add. But here's one of the mistakes I think we make. Because when we put out there that we are high value fellas, women hear that. Yeah, of course you could take his girl. you could take his girl because you can be able to give her some of these things, but she going right back to him because there's something about these bad fellas that they like over money
What I
sometimes.
was saying is, look, what I'm saying is, women are more superficial than men because they try to reach these unobtainable goals, and so they put themselves in situations, superficial situation, trying to get their body done, trying to hang out with the wrong crowd of people, just to attract an energy that they think they want. Whereas with a man, you realize really quickly that this is a competition, and you have to be your best self in order. Like you can't be. Oh, I can't wait to get that dream. I can't wait to get that 80 acres in South Carolina that I always wanted. You have to go out there and work for that. Whereas a woman, in her mind, she's thinking, as soon as I get my body done, and as soon as I get this done, as soon as I get that done, I could attract the type of person that I want. But you as a man, you have to work for that type of stuff. You see what I'm saying? So men aren't as superficial as women. That's what I'm saying. Women are more superficial than men in the things that they're trying to attain. And in turn, those things that they're trying to attain, they put themselves through.
And that's why I'm out the game. That's why I'm out the game. Like I'm talking about if I know her, but I'm out the game. Like, to be honest, my therapist told me to go on a lot of dates. I went on a lot of dates, and what I found is that this generation today does not. Here's a very interesting thing. Women want to be married because they grew up to Barbie dolls and Barbie and Ken, right? So that's their standard in their head. So they can never erase that. They always want to get married. But this is the thing that nobody's ever asked us as men is, what did we grow up to? You want to know what the standard of a man in my generation, particularly, of what a woman is in marriage? Claire Huxtable. I grew up to Claire.
That's fiction.
I know, but what I'm saying is this. Claire Huxtable is my standard, though. I can't erase that. So just like they see Ken and Barbie, they always want to be married. I'm saying to myself that I grew up to Claire Huxtable. And I know that that's fictional, but you want me to tell you one thing is that particularly for me, when I meet you, if you Claire Huxtable, and then if we going through this ride and you don't become Claire Huxtable, because of the vows that I made to you in marriage, I'm staying with you. What I don't see, particularly with 80% of the divorces happening from women, if you're gonna just leave me, then what's the difference between being in a relationship and being married? You can just wake up and leave me. And I don't think that there's no accountability when it comes to leaving somebody. No matter what I go through, that's just me. I'm sticking in. I'm a fighter. I stick in there.
Great.
I don't see the.
Can I drop a point in there?
Go ahead because go ahead. I understand. Go ahead, Giovanni.
All right. There's two things I want to address. Right. Firstly, Tevin.
Is one of them this question of whether or not we're more superficial than women are?
Most definitely. Firstly, I want to start with Tevin. I agree with you. However, we have to be careful in how we word things, and I think Keeshan mentioned this earlier, and she's not here at the moment, not that I know about. So someone needs to stand in the gap for women.
She's not on video, but she's here. She can hear you, and she'll comment. Okay,
so what I want to say in defense of women is we cannot categorize all women as superficial or this idea that they just have this idea about I'm going to get my body done and get. You have women out there who work hard for their earnings. You have women out there who are striving and putting forth their effort and qualifying themselves so that they can get a position where they get these things on their own. So we cannot say that all women or even most women are doing this. What happens is that we have an environment where social media broadcasts a certain particular type of women, and it makes us feel as though this is majority. That's not majority. All right? Majority of women are not on social media showing their hip and trying to get this grandiose attention. That's not majority. That's what you see because that's what the market wants you to see. Secondly, I want to address what Koran said, which is that when a woman goes after a certain type of this is she can't go back. I agree. However, I have a caveat to that. Right? Women do go back. But when they go back, it's normally after they can no longer attract nowhere near the dude who they initially wanted. So, for instance, women are in their prime in particular age range, and I'm not even going to mention the age range. I'm not going to step on any toes or fingers today, all right? But women are in their prime in a certain age range. in this age range, it's gonna be near impossible for women to ever go back once she has reached that yacht status and vacation status. However, when things start to turn and she realized that she has no chance in hell to ever get back to the yacht or the vacations, then she started to realize, wow, I have two choices to make. I can either be realistic with myself and say, listen, these options are out the window. Let me go see what these good guys saying. And that's normally when the good guys get that bad girl. They get that bad girl when she done washed up, then get ran through, then been all kind of different experiences. And now she want to approach the good guy and say, hey, I know you was looking for me 25 years ago. What you're saying? And by that time, the good guy's ready to stop himself, but there's no way in hell he's interested in that. Now, however, you do have some guys who still have their dream idea of what they want, and they end up settling like suckers. However, that's not all men. Now, to the question that Mr. Humes, because I don't want to get off topic, you mentioned which one of the sexes is more superficial? Is that the question?
Yeah. Well, it's the question. It's said women sometimes say that men are more superficial than women are.
Okay, now that question can be interpreted several ways, but I'm gonna speak to what I think you mean. You're talking about superficial in terms of visual, in terms of looks.
Yeah, we're more into looks when it comes to selecting a mate.
Okay, so when it comes to in terms of looks, men are definitely more superficial when it comes to body type and what the appearance of what a woman looks like. Most definitely. However, the question can also be asked: do we consider the lifestyle that women are chasing also superficial? Is that lifestyle superficial? Because sometimes you have men who could present this idea of this lifestyle that women may think exists, which in actuality is all a dream. All of a sudden, he's putting together his perfect IG page to make you think, okay, this is what I do, this is where I go, this is my lifestyle. And so women can also be superficial in saying, I'm attracted to this lifestyle. Can that also be saying a superficial?
Yeah.
Because if that's the case, then we could say that it's hard to say which sex is more superficial. I would still lean more towards men, though, because we wouldn't even approach a female with any serious interest if we're not even first attracted to her. However, we can.
Well, isn't that the same thing? Isn't that the same thing with women? And
it is. However, a woman can't see your lifestyle by just seeing you in person. She has to see your profile first. So that's something that comes down the line.
I'm saying, well, off of social media. Because that's one thing. Yeah, we do look at these superficial things on social media. But if I'm walking down the street, or if we're at a party, or we're in the club, and all this stuff, do you find that women, again, these physical attraction type things, when we meet each other, that we're more as we're more superficial than women are?
Well, then if that's the
men are visual creatures.
Don't you think women are as well? Keeshan, say we're in the club.
I think no. You'd find that most men are visual creatures. I'm not saying. We're talking about. See, let's stick to the question. Are we talking about physical appearance, or are we talking about physical appearance in conjunction with assets and other things?
I'm saying physical attraction.
Physical attraction, right?
Is it more about physical attraction for men than it is for women?
It's about assets. It's about, I've seen a lot of not so handsome guys get some super amazing women because he got a bag, because he got some money, because he got
not all the time.
Well, because
even Biggie Smalls said black and ugly as ever. However, I stay Gucci down to the socks. That's what he's telling you. He's ugly. That's what he said. But I can get these women because my appearance don't mean anything. Money, power, and respect does. He actually said that.
Like Jay-Z said, money make you handsome.
So you saying that women are more attracted to what a man has versus what he looks like, and men are more attracted to women physical.
I'm 5'7", but I walk in the room like I'm 6 foot, and that's all that matters. When
I thought you were going to say 5'4".
I wouldn't say what he has. What I would say is that it's not so much of what he has. It's what he has the potential to do. So it's not so much what he has. I've heard from women more recently that a man can have.
Hold on, guys. Hold on. Let me hear what the guest is saying. Let me hear what Giovanni's saying.
A man can have a lot of things going for himself, But I've now been turned on to know that women are now aware that there are a lot of men out there that are successful, but they're not willing to spill anything. They're not willing to give anything. So women are now smarter now to realize, okay, yes, this man has a lifestyle, and yes, he's successful, but is he willing to fund the lifestyle and take me on for this lifestyle? So it's not so much what a man has, it's what she sees him to have the potential or willingness to do.
Okay, so
because he has.
This takes me into the next question here. Keron, before we get into that, there are a lot of women out there that are asking, what is a high value man? You know, they're saying, they hear you mention this thing quite a bit, but they're saying
money, power, and respect. It's the only, as a African American man, nobody cares when I don't have money, power, respect. If I don't have money, how much money do you have to be a high value? At least 80,000 or more, but for real, it's really 100,000. But I would personally say
Kevin Samuels, you know, his philosophy is that a high value man is anyone making mid 6 figures, seven figures.
Yeah, it just depends on what city you stay in too as well, right? I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, so St. Louis, the average medium household income is not that high. I can make 80,000 look like 200,000-300,000 in St. Louis, but that's a whole other different thing because he also
but we going with what Kevin said though, because we always hear about high valued men. Then Kevin talk about it.
Yes. Okay, so here's what to him. He always talks about what state you're in, because if you're in California and you make 100,000, that's nothing in high California. Value. I was in St. Louis, Missouri. It's not that high. If I was in Arkansas and I'm making 80,000, that's what that. I actually have more money in Arkansas, living in Little Rock, Arkansas. It's 80,000 than somebody that has 140,000 in New York.
I'll tell you what he also when he speaks about it, and when we think about it, what he's also talking about is that man who is able to, you know, have the nice fancy house in the hills, kids are going to, you know, private school, the wife is able to stay home and be a wife, able to take those trips around, take the whole family, and still has a lot of money to throw around. So
money, power, and respect.
Yeah. So, you know, some women get those men, some women don't. But what we do find is in some instances that women are marrying men or appear to be marrying men who they're not prepared to follow or have issues following. Do you find a good number of it? The question is, a good number of men today appear to be marrying men who they are not prepared to follow or have issues allowing these men to lead. Do you find that this is so?
Hey, yes, I do. I'm telling you, once again, my therapist, I'm going to stick with this story. She told me go on she told me to go on a serial dates, like serial date, but do not have sex with them. And I followed her instructions.
You just say you don't date though.
Sex is commitment.
Hey, listen.
But you don't date though.
Hey, listen, I know I don't date anymore now after I went on all my dates. That's what I'm saying.
Oh my God.
Come on, let's focus on the question. We got a couple minutes.
No, listen.
I got the answer right here, man.
I went through all of these different dates, and I'm telling you, it is the worst. I actually still wanted to be married. These different dates stumped that completely out of me. I don't even, hey, listen. It is the most horrible thing. Listen, I actually still wanted to be married and find somebody. The combativeness, the not telling me, they don't say thank you. Hey, I had a nice day, this, that, and other. They just want to go to different places. They don't it is the most horrible thing I've ever experienced, like in my life. And to be honest, I can only just say now that marriage is a young man's sport. The reason why is because there's a lot of benefits when you're younger. You can give me kids. Right now, I don't necessarily need kids from you. That's something that was big for me then, but I got kids now, so that's not a benefit. You could help me build my business while I'm going to build the business. You building the kids and building my legacy. I already got my business. It runs completely without me even being there, and I don't need you to help me with that. So like all the things that would have benefited me for being married no longer benefits me. Now, I don't need you to do nothing except for just put me first. But you know what? If she got 3 kids or 2 kids or 1 kid or whatever, She goes to her career. She looking online. She want to be the boss chick. She got a business to run. She want to go back, get her double masters. She got her 3 kids. She going to church. She put me last. I don't get nothing no more. So you know what?
Back to my
let's be this back.
Wait.
What is the high?
I'm last.
Wait, wait, because I want to move. This goes back to my question. Because when I hear about this woman that you're describing, this woman just walks around and worships you all day.
Yeah.
No, not at all. I'm just saying,
She should not have nothing going on for herself.
She should have nothing going on in her life.
She should be submissive.
No, I'm not. Listen.
Listen.
That's why I'm. Listen to me. Listen to me.
Well, we're listening. I'm listening. Okay, listen.
Hold on. Let me get this off.
I think I'm pretty objective.
Let me get this off. Like when we are.
I think.
Hold on. Let me hear Mark.
I think I'm pretty objective in this, because what I'm hearing is, I heard in the last conversation that you don't really want to be 7. So you have a woman, when you meet her, she has all of these. She has a career. She has, well, I don't want to bring the kids into it because, again, you chose her having kids. You should understand that. So you shouldn't choose a woman with kids because, she's going to put her kids first. She probably has some friends that she hangs out with, that her friends. She may be a church woman and involved in activities in the church. She may sing in the choir.
You know what's sad?
So wait a minute. So what are you expecting her to do once she gets in relationship with you?
Number one, you know what's sad? The fact that if a black man says, if a black woman says she wants her man to put her first, they singing the song, put that woman first. Oh, put that woman first. Listen to me. I've never explained what putting a woman first, yet if you look down in the comments, they say, he wants her to be a maid. I never said
men who want the same treatment as women is very scary.
But I asked the question. I asked you the question earlier. What does it look like? You can't
generalize me. What does that look like?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you an even better question. When I said that I want to put a woman first, why did you automatically put me in the category that I just don't want her to work? I never said that. Like, what made your brain say Koran? Like, if you look down in the chat, people.
Let me tell you why. I'll tell you why I asked the question. Because I'm telling you what I'm hearing on this side. That you don't want her to have anything else before you. That's the kind of thing I hear when I read the Bible. God says that to mankind. Have no other gods before me. And so when I hear you say these things, that's why I'm asking you, what does putting you first look like? Because what I'm hearing is
honor and respect.
Not going back to school, getting your double masters, not having 3 children.
You can go get your double. Hey,
listen, the man that is 5'7" don't want to be 7. So you can go back to having your master, doing your double master.
Hey, listen, if
double
master.
I know one of the things.
I just repeating what you're saying. I just repeating you, Koran.
I know, but this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. Listen to me. What I'm saying is I just want to be honored and respected. That's what I mean when I say.
So she could have a basic job, right?
She could go on a girls trip. I don't care where you go.
No, I'm asking. All right.
I don't care.
So let's make it fair. Let's make it fair.
Pour into me. Let's go clear.
All right. So let's make it fair because you raised some points. You said that she want to put her children before you. So that means boom, she don't need to have no children. Next. She want to go back and get her double masters. So that means, hey, she should not be ambitious and want to further her education.
That don't mean that either.
So why bring up these things then?
I'm bringing up those things because normally the women that have all those things normally are the ones that give me the hardest time.
Okay,
so that's what I'm.
Hold on.
You're contradicting yourself.
He asked me a question about somebody leading. I'm telling you that the more
Koran, hear me out. Hear me out. I was so quiet. How long have been quiet?
I'm gonna silence both of you guys because both of you trying to talk over each other. No one's and the question and nobody's really addressing this question. That's
everybody just stay single. Then watch. I'm telling you. I know what I'm talking about. Like I'm a really good guy. If you don't want to listen to what I got to say, then just stay single. I can tell you how to get the man. If you don't want to listen to me, then forget it.
Here's the question. And we sort of, I was trying not to do a part 3 to this, but I need us to focus on the question. And again, the question on the floor is that a good number of women appear to marry men who they are not prepared to follow. These are modern women that we're talking about, or have issues allowing these men to lead.
I agree.
What I need to find out is this problematic? Is this something that we see more and more nowadays? And is it problematic?
I don't know if we see it more and more, but you would find that a lot of women take issue in allowing a man to lead, because there are some women who are operating in the masculine sense. There are some women that's all they know, to just be the breadwinner, be the hustler, be the one to take initiative. They've never had a man in their life, or they've never experienced what it is just to sit down and let a man take charge. Or if a man said, "Oh, hey, I'm gonna handle this," he isn't a man of his word. So you find that a lot of women today are operating in that masculine sense. So yes, it is going to be problematic, because who man does not want to lead, or to, but want his woman to follow his lead? Hey, let's go this route. Hey, let's do this. Hey, let's not do this. It becomes a problem.
Gio?
And then also you would find too that a lot of men as well don't know how to lead. So it kind of had that conflict, or that problem, because hey, she looking at you like you ain't even leading us right.
Well,
Here's
a question I have, because you have a choice. We go back to this idea of choice.
Mm-hmm.
You have a choice to be with a man. One, if you recognize that he's not good at leading, then why don't you just move on? I always I'm always come back to this question.
Because people tend to outweigh the bad and the good, Mark. In my opinion, like you say, yes, everyone has a choice. But if he doing other things and that outweigh everything, and he just ain't a leader, then just so be it. But it all goes back down to our first show, where Keona stated, where a lot of people are unequally yoked.
Well, and I go to this, I see Gio and then Tevin, I go to this idea of being unequally yoked when you align yourself with a man who doesn't have a vision or a plan. One of the first, I don't think women get into relationships asking a man, where you going? If I get on this ride with you, where you taking me? I don't think women get into those when, again, in this dating and courting thing. And then sometimes if they do, and they hear that this is where the man is going, for whatever reason, they get on this journey with this individual.
No action.
Knowing that, he's not going where I really want to go. I think when Keona spoke about being unequally yoked or equally yoked, she's talking about both individuals going in the same direction. They share the same dream. They share the same vision, or the woman finds her vision within the man's vision, her happiness within his vision. Unequally yoked suggests that you are not aligned on the same vision.
Mm-hmm.
And so why is it that women get into these relationships with men without having a clear idea? Because this is that he can take, he's going someplace that she also wants to go, and she's prepared to follow him.
Okay, so can I?
Hold on a second, Devin.
Let Gio. Why? And in the audience, before you begin, Gio, because women are commenting a lot. Again, for the audience out there, I would like to know, and it's a very serious question, why do women get into relationships with men without first finding out whether or not this man is where the man is going, what his vision plans are, what his plans, the plans that what his vision is, what are the plans to achieve that vision, and make a determination as to whether or not you're going in the same place or I want to get on this ride
switch the question
because I like
All right.
that vision. Women, please answer that question out. Women out there, answer that question for me. Gio?
Let's get uncomfortable for a second. Your seat was getting a little comfortable. Let's get uncomfortable for a second. Let's start by saying God. All right. There's a big air in the environment that we're not addressing. The addressment is that people have strayed from God. That's step number one. Because as we were growing up, we were taught God, Father, Mother, children. The problem that we have in the environment today is that the vast majority of us have strayed away from God, strayed away from the church, strayed away from the teachings that we have been taught growing up and now becoming adults. And now that we're adults, we think we're too big for God. We find ourselves not having time for God. And when I'm speaking right now, I'm speaking as someone who can speak from experience. I have too strayed away from God and the teachings and putting together an environment where these are my habits and these are the things that I do. The reason why women are finding a hard time following in the footsteps of men is because men are wandering lost. They're not being led by God. How can you lead a woman to any destination when you yourself are not being led by a higher power than you? Men are walking in no direction. And then we are uncomfortable as to why no woman is following us. We have no direction. And we're not explaining ourselves so that they know in clear cut form, hey, this is what my intentions are. This is what I intend to do. Now, to your first question, that would be my answer. To the second question, where you said, why aren't women asking these questions? I would say that also has alignment to do with God, because we have lost sight of what's truly important. People are now striving for superficial experiences and fixated on this facade of love and what a commitment and what a marriage is supposed to be based off of social media. And nowhere in social media is there any coverage towards spirituality and walking in faith and walking and being led by a power that's greater than you. Okay. Everyone has this mindset of, hey, they can lead themselves. A lost man, a lost woman can't lead anybody to anything. So your faith needs to be aligned first before you can walk in any direction.
Okay, so
all right, Tevin.
Yeah, so I mean, I wanted to speak before you, Gio, but you actually took some words out of my mouth with that saying, because Mr. Humes, he appointed that, in biblical terms, God should be first. But what I understand from what Koran is saying, and even Gio, you have God, then you have the man, then you have the wife, then you have the children. So what he's saying is, mean that you should put me first before God, because in the Bible, as Gio saying, we're straying from the Bible. It should be the man, it should be God, then man, and then the wife. So if you're not putting yourself in a position, that's what he means. He doesn't mean that you should drop the thing and bow down to his.
Thank you.
Well, you should have said that. You should have said
I don't have to say it. The fact that you assumed it.
You should have said it just as clearly, Koran.
No, the fact that you even assumed it says we have a big problem on our hands already.
I just want to finish. And Gio said something that's very important. And what Gio said is very important is because the whole society has strayed away from God, and now you have systems putting in place that's derailing us from our family and our structure that we're used to. And so I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with this. He's a psychologist. His name is Edward Bernays. He coined the term torches of freedom in the 1920s. You can look it up. And what he did, he orchestrated for like 10 or 15 debutantes in the United States. He was hired by a tobacco company to have these women to sell torches of freedom, which was cigarettes, because women weren't it was taboo for women to smoke cigarettes, and so they coined these terms to get women to popularize smoking for women in the United States. And a week or two later, everywhere in the world, women start smoking cigarettes. So I think there are these infrastructures and systems that are put in place specifically to derail, especially your Black family, from the purpose of what it truly is. First, because what I think it is, it's like a circle. So first, in the middle, there's a child. That is the yoke. The child is the yoke. On the outer layer where you have the white part, that's the wife or that's the woman. And on the outer layer, that's the husband trying to protect the whole system. So what they have done, they have broken down the home where you don't feel like you need a man in the first place. He can't help me. I need to go out there and do it for myself.
And that's how I feel.
I need all of this. And then when they derail the man, they make you feel like you don't need your man. Then they attack the woman. And it's further going in where they're attacking the woman to where they're going to these kids now. They're telling these kids, you can make your own decision independent of your parents. And so it's a whole systemic thing that's actually derailing the Black community. And I'm glad Gio pointed to that, because we have been distracted from the true purpose. And when Koran said, I want you to put me first, I want you to respect me. I want you to respect my decision. Not that I don't value your opinion, but I need that space where I can be creative to protect us.
But okay, so how could you, if we go right back, we go back to Gio's statement. And this idea that men are lost. So if we're lost right now, how do we expect women to sort of to have us have us lead them? Somebody said,
I'm going to answer that. We're lost, and I expect women to accept that, because they should understand that this is a problem that we've been having from before time. They get these women when it was the Industrial Revolution, when they took these men out of work, are saying that men don't have work. They put these women on welfare and giving them checks.
And this is what I want to add to this. Let me add something.
So what they do, they derail our men. So we need our women to stand up for us more now than before. Not go against us.
And there's a part I want to add on to that. Really, really good. Hey, Tevin, tonight you on fire tonight.
So they should understand. So hold on. They should understand that there's a system out there that's fighting us. They're trying to get rid of us. And so as my wife, and not even my wife, as my sister, as my neighbor, I need you to stand up for me just because I'm a man in society and I'm going to be looking out for your child. If anything should happen, I don't know your child. I don't know who he is. But as a Black man or whatever it is, it's my instinct to protect that child. I see that child getting hit by a car. I'm not going to say, oh, that's not my child. I'm going to try my best to save that child, irrespective of who his parents are. So we need these women to come and rally for us just the same as though they're rallying for themselves, because the men's system, the masculine system is being torn down, and they're getting towards these women with this feminism, and they're going to get to our children.
And I want to put one thing. I just want to add one thing. It is up to men like you and I really appreciate you. You're on fire today. Like last time we butted heads, but today I'm agreeing 100%, letting you lead. You killing it. This is what I would say. Also to that, it's up to us to do our part as men and begin to regain the trust of our women. So for myself, I started working on myself before I even did the dating thing and all that. And what I found is that after the therapy, after me getting in the gym, after me getting my business affairs, and after me doing all of these things, what I found out is that even after here's my issue, even after I worked on myself and I raised my value, our women were so messed up that they wouldn't even trust me to lead. I go to sleep by myself, homie. I can knock down whatever I want to every night. I go home by myself because it's a me thing. This ain't got nothing to do with dating and find. No, with me and I'm not about to get ready to disrespect myself. Right now, I'm in a crib. I got 2 cribs. I go to sleep by myself, not because I got the option to. I go there because, first of all, I got God on my side, and He's calling me to a higher level. But the saddest thing about it is, and I was telling my mom this earlier today, when you go to therapy, you wake up, and sometimes, man, you just want to go back to sleep, because once you realize and see everybody all triggered, I can say one word hey, how you doing? Hey, I ain't got a man. Hey, listen, I ain't even saying nothing, Queen. I'm just saying, how you doing? What I'm saying is that can we all, both man and female, hit a reset button to say, let's put the back in the back, let's work on ourselves. We don't even need to be in a position to talk to nobody. We're broken.
Well,
to the point we are so broken. We need to go heal before we build. That's what
this is where we ended last week, on the same idea. How do we get back to the middle? But I'm gonna, how do we get back to the middle? How do we sort of restore our community? These are the things that I recognize that, again, feminism is drawn in particular, because feminism wasn't our fight. It wasn't a fight. It wasn't a fight between black men and black women, but we adopted, our black intellectual community adopted this thing. And that's, that's why I started off saying, where did we become the enemies of each other? We weren't that thing. When we look at what the slave institution did to us as individuals, and again, it was, I always smile when I think about it, and I say, this is a bigger fight between white men and black men. Our women, white women and black women, are somehow caught in the middle and used as instruments in a greater fight of superiority.
Yep.
Where the white man says that, to the black man, you have no power because I control your women and I control my women.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was kind of what that's sort of what the image of what slavery was in our environment. It came across as this thing to disempower black men and keep him in submission. But we recognize these things, we talk about these things, but we don't do much in recognition. I think therapy, once you recognize that you have a problem, you deal with that problem. We recognize what the institution of slavery has done to us as individuals, black men and black women. We talk about it quite a bit, but why aren't we doing more about it? So I don't want to, again, some of the things you guys talked about leads me to this question, and I'm going to sort of try to wrap it up. But, is society, two questions here. Are mothers raising their daughters to be wives, or are they raising them to be single women? Perhaps we'll discuss this next week, but if you want to tackle it tonight, but make it succinct. Are they raising their daughters to be wives or single women, or has society just made it easier for women to live without a man as a mate or a husband as a mate? Anybody wants to tackle that?
Both. Quite simply, both. Mothers are raising daughters to not only be single women, but to be survivors. Sense where they use men rather than build with men. So women only see men in today's time as a tool, a stepping stone, a placement holder to take me to the next level. And I'm not speaking for all women, but I'm speaking for a particular type of women. They're using men as a tool. So mothers, I'm talking about bitter mothers now.
Are these the women? Well, when we look at the percentage of women out there that are not married, or in the population, there's a large number of them out there. Do you find? Well, sorry, you laughing at the comment? She take her 10 points back. So let me take this off of here. This Rashonda, I think it is. She just took her 10 points back from you.
The truth don't bear feelings, man.
Let me let you finish your statement. I'm gonna ask that question.
All right, I'm wrapping up real quick. All right, so the first question you asked is, are women, are mothers training their daughters to be single mothers. I mean, to be single women. I already answered that. The second question you asked was, what's the second question?
Society making it easier for women to live without us.
Most definitely. When you look at what a man was traditionally in our environment, a man was a provider, a protector, a facilitator, a prophet, or a priest, right? We now live in a time where you don't have to hunt for food. You don't have to have a man for protection, right? You could get security. You could live in the comfort of a gated community. You have the police force you could call on. They're all measures of steps before actually needing a man. All infrastructures that you look at created by men. I often hear this comment, men have designed the world so easily and made the world so soft that people don't even realize how important men are. And you guys heard me make this comment. I started this comment last week and I'll end on this. Difficult times create tough men. Tough men create easy times, and easy times create weak men. We're now living in a time, as I stated last week, of easy times and weak men. The reason why we have so much time to debate and converse on trivial matters and trivial topics is because we don't have to even deep dive into things that are actually of importance anymore because they're already taken care of. You already know where you can eat for majority of us. You already know where you can go. You already know that you're protected. All of the important things men have already taken care of. So now we're living in a time where people are actually literally debating what sex they want to be or who they want to be when they wake up because they're bored. They don't have anything else to do. So now we're just creating things and creating ideas for ourselves to keep ourselves entertained. And now the drug today is victimhood. Being a victim and attention. That's the drug today. Most people today don't have real issues, but they identify because they want attention. This is an attention-seeking generation. Look at me. I'm the spotlight. I'm the victim.
How does that tie into society, make it easier for women to live without us? You know, because I was thinking when I think about these things, these systems in society, I'm thinking about stuff like, you know, the welfare system. You know, with the welfare system, you know, that's a source of relief for women.
Mentioned that.
Yeah, where you know they don't have to have, you know, welfare system will take care of you and your kids, etc., etc. When you look at child support, you know, a man doesn't have to be around. You just have to
divorce him and take his money.
Just give him the money. You know, even not divorce, even if you're not together, you know, we just have a child together. I was watching this video the other day where this guy, he has 7 children, said he told the women when he has 7, well, he had 15 children or something, he said, you know, with different women, same number of women. And he told each of them when they got pregnant that he didn't want the child. But they went ahead and had the child, and now they're all trying to get child support. Several of them, the kids died. The ones that are remaining there, several of the women that are trying to get child support, despite the fact that he didn't want a child. So these sort of systems that are in place that are making it easier for men to live without women. Somebody made a comment. Let me see if this comment right here. Your friend Giovanni Rashenda, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that name. She says, this is taking us back a minute. And then there's one more question I want us to get into. Says a lot of women fall in love with potential. This goes back to the question why, you know, you find women not sort of wanting to lead or follow men in relationships, and this idea of broken men or men that are lost. And she says a lot of women fall in love with potential and make the mistake that they can change a man for the better or make their goals the man goal. And that goes because I had a question in my mind before I saw this. You think women see men as projects? He's saying broken, lost men that, you know, again, maybe their nature, their nurturing nature, they believe that they could sort of solve the problem. They see these men, you know, that are needy that are lacking, and they go in thinking I could fix this broken man, and find out sometimes that they can, and that's what most of the hurt is. You think women, Tevin, see men in a lot of instances as projects?
The majority.
Some women.
Yeah, I don't think the majority of women see men as projects. No, because especially if you look in today's society where the majority of women are, they really don't want to have anything to do with men. So you
not the majority of women. No, I can't let you get away with that. Not the majority of women. I think there's a small pocket of women that may not want to have much to do with men, but I think the majority of women want to have those relationships with men that lead to marriages. I'd stand by that there are a great majority of women out there, the majority of women, particularly black women, that are looking for men who can be their husbands. So I don't want to,
I don't see that on my end, but to just answer the question, if I could just answer the question real quick.
Sure.
It says that our mothers raising their daughters to be wives, or they're raising them, I'm just reading it, to be single ladies. Well, just to piggyback on what I said earlier, we have to understand, and you mentioned something about slavery, but you have to understand there are systems in place that are spending billions and billions of dollars to feed this ideology to us. This whole notion of you being a single mother or you being a wife, like I for me, I don't really care if you're a single mother. No, let me not say single. Let me not say single mother. But you being a single lady, if it ends in marriage, that's good. But even if you have a common law baby daddy or whatever, I would much prefer that than you being a single mom. You see, if I could say that, because single ladies, does that mean that you are single and you don't want any children? You're just being single by yourself, or we talking about single mothers?
Say that again.
Now I'm saying, like, when you say they want them to be married or single ladies, are you meaning they're single and they don't want no children and they don't want any type of relationship, or you just mean that they're single mothers in society?
I'm saying what I'm sort of meaning is, are they growing them up to be independent women?
Because that's the thing. Because you can be you can be a wife and still be independent. Independent doesn't necessarily isolate you from being a wife.
Well, I'm saying, are they growing them up to be independent, single women who can take care of their own?
Oh, yes, yes.
I mean, and there's something I want to say about that. That rightfully so. I mean, first of all, I definitely want to give a shout out to all the black women on here. Like, for real, like, to be honest, all the stuff that black women have been through, to be honest, I'm talking like through the system and all that. They've done an amazing job, and rightfully so. If you don't got a man in the house, and men was out here doing certain things back in the the drug era and this, that, and other, and all the men are dead or in jail, what other means are they supposed to do? You're supposed to try to survive. And so I don't think they're necessarily trying to make, you don't need a man for nothing. I think that they're bracing themselves for what's on the news and what's on the TV, which is saying that we're going to die.
These are the women that are raising these men.
Yeah, but this is the thing, though. Unless you're a woman, I was raised by a single mama. Trust me, she's trying to do all. She ain't trying to make me be she didn't never one time say, hate your daddy, don't do it. No, what she's trying to do is to tell. What she's trying to do is make sure that I stay safe enough to live to see the next day. They're not raising just I'm raising you up, don't need a man. No, she's trying to prepare her kids that if anybody leaves, including her, that their kids are going to be okay. So rightfully so. Like, I don't want us to make it seem like all women are trying to raise, like, they're doing what they're supposed to do and have to do based on what the cards that have been dealt to them. Yeah, but I don't think that they've intentionally tried to raise their children to say, oh, you don't need a man for nothing. But at the end of the day, if you look at the numbers on the crime, if you look at the numbers of murders, if you look that 1 in 3 black men are going to go to prison, this is a real number. What else do you prepare what would you prepare them for in the Tooth Fairy? Like they're doing the best that they can with the cards that's dealt to them. So what I would be asking is, how do we reset this whole thing? Because that's really what I'm a very forward-thinking person. Like we could go back on the battle of sexes on who's right and who's wrong. We all have been dealt a bad hand of cards. But yet, at the end of the day, we were ripped away from our motherland. We were stripped away from our language, and to see that we are still even in the top rankings in different fields, we have done a doggone good job. I think it's time for us to move away from the conversations of talking about is it the man or the woman and the man, and figure out how do we reset together so that we can begin to elevate. Because other than that, we're gonna talk about this to the cows come home.
Again, that's how we ended the conversation last week. The unfortunate thing about it, and we talk about these systems that are in place. These systems, it's just these systems that are in place. And when you look at social media, this new invention that's now sort of having everybody, have their own, everybody has their own voice, can be whatever they want to be, choose whatever they want to be. And we find that the predominant image on that's out there in social media, which becomes our representation, and again, that might be a small representation of who we are as Black people, but it's a predominant image. Like I said, when I was growing up in the Bahamas, when I was growing up as a young person here, we only, at the time when I was young and growing up, we had ABC, we had CBS, we had NBC, we had PBS. That was it. We didn't have all these other sort of, news stations. And on those 4 channels, when we got images of African Americans, you usually found that these were the African Americans, most of the ones that I saw. I'm not going to speak for everybody else, but these were, these were project individuals, always complaining about somebody's doing something to them. There was it was just just the most negative images that I had of what Black America was like. It wasn't until I moved to the United States and I, stepped on the campus of Morehouse for the first time that I saw just a whole range of Blackness. It just sort of blew my mind that this wasn't anything like what I saw on television, So those media, and I'm saying that these media images that we get become the standard image for or representation of whole groups of individuals. And until we could, we allow ourselves, we allow ourselves to be used by these instruments for commercial gain, for money, to the detriment of the whole race. Yeah. So how do we change? How do we use all of our collective powers to rewrite and recast our own stories about the majority of us, who the majority of us are? We fighting a losing battle because the major issue is mass media and who controls the narrative. That's what we fought against during the slave era when we were not able to tell our own stories. Somebody created an image of who he was, Thomas Jefferson, and his notes from Virginia. David Hume on his writings about the Black race, what they saw, what they scripted, what they sent out to the world about who we were. That's what people ate up. Fortunately for us, we had individuals who were able to take control of of language and use language to tell our stories.
Mm-hmm.
That was one way we got power to write ourselves back into some sort of wholeness. How do we now do that? Koran, I understand what you're saying, but unless we could change what mass media says about us, we're in a losing battle. Unless we can write different stories about who we are, we're in a losing battle. Until we understand the power of language. You know, I became an English professor, and the day I became an English major was probably the greatest day in my life, because I actually realized that when I mastered writing, I actually realized that I had the power to write myself to life, to deconstruct all of the constructions that others may have or try to, these boxes that people try to put me in. I have the power to keep myself out of a box. We all, Black people, people of color, we have a tremendous way with language. When you look at these guys that rap, top of their head, beautiful use of language. Songwriters, all of these songwriters who are out there writing all of these hits, beautiful way with language. How are we using the language that we have, the language power we have, to create a different image of who we are? Notice the type of songs that we sing about ourselves now. That's creating an image of who we are. Unless we could find a way to deal with that, we're fighting a losing battle. And yes, we will be here talking about these things for decades to come. So if we're gonna talk about that, I think we could end on this, because I had another question. It's completely would change the dynamics. But how do we now use our collective power as men in particular to get out there to other men, to help them find their way, to help them understand the powers that they have with language? And how do we take control of language to create a new narrative? This is my foray into this, to see how we could do it. That's kind of why I started this. Like I said, how do we, and that's why I ended the last conversation. How do we? I want to see if what other people's ideas are on the things that can get us back to the middle. But it really is about what we do in popular media.
Yeah.
How are we able to accept the realities of where we are as men and women, recognize as Black men and Black women, we're not each other's enemies, and let's get back to focusing on the real enemies that are trying to destroy our lives. Yeah. So we need to preach that message a little bit more around the world, in the African diaspora, because it's not just America that appears, men of color in America, or men and women of color in America that appear to be lost. There are men and women in the Caribbean diaspora. There are men and women in the African diaspora. In all of these places where Black men and women exist, all around the world, we seem to have the same issues.
Yep.
So that's my preaching for the night. But I'm thinking that's one of the ways we get back to the middle, recognizing the power that we have in the tongue.
Yeah.
The power that we have in the language that God has given us to create our own stories, a new story about who we are. Because like I say, what's out there may be a small portion of who we are. It may be the exception of who we are. How do we use our high net worth, our low net worth, those of us who know better, come together? The majority of us who sit on the sideline and let the minority rule? How do we come back and take control of the minority, put them to the side, and let the world know that that's a minority? This is who we are. So let's be prepared to have that fight. We'll be back for part 3. Because the next show I do want to take a look at is this same thing about single motherhood, these relationships, these Jerry Springer, you are not the father, or these Jerry Springer type, you are the father, and the impact that right there has on where we are today. Fathers or young men having babies with women, we talked about it tonight, with women they know they don't want, and women having kids by men they know they can't follow. What impact and the unintended consequences. So if you are prepared to take that conversation up with me next week, or not, excuse me, next 2 weeks, I'd like for us to come back and have a discussion. I'm done preaching. Close out, you guys. Any final words before we go?
You said it all, man. You took us home.
I just want to say one thing though, and I think it's very important, and I just want to take the time out to really thank you, Mr. Humes, for devoting your time and your level of expertise on this matter. You know, because especially like with platform like this, you are actually making a dent in that shield that they have against us. And, you know, you bringing together us to have this type of conversation, this is what our community needs. Need to see more people taking that initiative to just sit down and have a conversation. And you'll be amazed to know what a conversation can spark. It can spark different ideas, and, you know, it could initiate action. So I just want to take the time out to really thank you for giving us this platform where we could express ourselves and our opinions, and all my fellow, you know, Koran and Gio. Just us having this conversation is gonna rub people off in a way that they're gonna actually try to do better, or they're gonna take the initiative to get educated to know what to do next. You see what I'm saying? So that's all I have to say.
Anybody else want to? Final thoughts, final words?
I just want to say, in comparison to the last conversation we had and today, I've seen a lot of growth. You know, I've seen we had a few tussles last session, and even this session, you know, I wanted to bring sort of a devil's advocate view to things, just to stir it up a bit, you know, bring some entertainment here. But the way we rounded off as men, I definitely say I have a new level of respect for each and every one of you that spoke tonight. You know, we may not agree 100% on everything, but I can respect everyone's decisions, and they all sound sound and with some thought behind it that make it make sense. We come from different walks of life, and so our experiences will be different to some degree. However, I see wisdom in each and every one of us. Ms. Humes, I will second what Tevin has said, and I also appreciate the opportunity to come in and speak. You know, I'm surrounded by men that I see have a future, and I have already built a present. That's one to be respected, and I admire that. I look up to gents around me that could kind of harness my abilities that I have not gathered a grasp or knew that I had. You know, and just listening to you guys speaking the experiences and the wisdom that you've bestowed upon me, because I'm one that doesn't believe I have all the answers, but I'm very excited to hear what everyone has to say, even the ladies that are not here today. Sorry to hear that they couldn't make it today. Keeshan, you represented yourself well. I'm glad you were able to be here with us, even for a majority of the portion. You know, you brought some insight to things that I probably didn't think about. You know, I just want to give everybody their props. You know, we did a good job, and looking forward to a possible another discussion. And even if we don't meet again, you know, listen, take heed on the things that we talked about today, and we have learned today, and let's try to be an impact in our environment. You know, like let's just gather here today and have this conversation, and then it all falls on deaf ears. We have to be intentional about the things that we believe in. You know, and one for me, I've seen some things I need to work on, and I'm happy that you had this discussion, because now it's going to help me to move forward to the next step. You know, so thank you guys.
Koran, final words.
Yeah, I want to say the same thing. You know, even me listening, a lot of times, you know, I talked about not being heard. It's like one of my biggest frustrations. But sometimes you need to hear yourself to hear like the own hurt that you have in yourself. Like you could tell there's a lot of hurt in me. Like, hey, I ain't gonna lie, like a lot of disappointment, even after the therapy and all that. But you know, the one thing that I really appreciate about tonight is that, you know, I get a chance to hear myself without and also understand that people that's not going to agree. But even after today, I got a lot of self-reflecting to do, like honestly, and I appreciate you for giving me the platform. To be honest, I never talked about my divorce at all, not one time. Like I just smoothed over it. But in order for me to really heal, I got to be around other, like they say, iron sharpens iron. And so to be able to talk to different brothers in different walks of life in different places, I feel free even that much more. And I feel like, you know, a year, 2, 3 years from now down the line, that this is going to even be a lesson where I'll be able to look back and say, man, I remember 2, 3 years ago, I was so hurt, but look at me now. So I just appreciate you. And the last thing I would say on that is what Tevin said, you know, you created a platform for us to be able to have this conversation live, and this will live on forever because it's on YouTube, it's out in the web. And so, you know, I think that there'll be people that will look at it, take the parts that they need to get and empower themselves. But ultimately, I love how we ended on this particular note, man. I appreciate you, Tevin. Hey, Tevin came with it today. Hey, last week, I thought,
go do some research. Listen to you, and I went to do some research for real. That
hey, you was
first.
Hey,
that's real.
I didn't have nothing to say to you today. I actually learned from you today. Jesus. And then my brother Gio, man. I love how you're a thinker. You know what I mean? You think before you talk. I'm more of a just come off it. And man, I appreciate you, man, because I aspire to take some of that in on me, on myself, you know, to start thinking a little bit before I react to certain things. And then, like I said, Mr. Humes, I really appreciate you for picking me to be able to be on your platform and hear myself grow. And I'm healing even as I'm talking right now. So I just really appreciate you for stepping out and giving brothers like us and young women the opportunity to talk without disrespecting each other. And tonight was a good night.
Excellent, man. And I thank you all, I thank you all for, taking the invite to come in and, be a part of this new venture with me. I'm learning from you guys' experiences. It's good to, hear your experiences. It's unfortunate that the women weren't here to be with us tonight, but I think the show at the end of the show tonight, I think we really started to sort of hit home. And this is kind of what I would like for us to do a little bit more, is try to figure out how do we get it right? How do we then go out, or, for persons that are listening to us, how do we sort of bring in a wider audience where we're talking about getting it right, as opposed to just talking about the problems that we face. We got to face those problems, but we also, have to look at how are we going to solve it. And, again, I'm looking forward to growing with you guys, looking forward to, taking this a little bit further, looking at some of these issues and bringing some more people in. So, again, we need the audience out there to grow with us. We need you to take part and be a part of us. Again, like I said, what I'm hoping to do is that we'll invite someone from the viewing audience to be a part of our panel discussion, because we'd like to bring in more voices and hear more voices as well, and grow the platform. So remember, again, I want to thank everybody for being here. Koran, for being here. It's been more than 3 hours. I thought we would have been able to get out a lot quicker. We got to work better at time, guys. But again, it's all, good information, good learning. Gio, thank you so very much for being here with us tonight as well. Tevin, same. And for the viewing audience, thank you all so very much for spending the time with us. Remember, as we close out, like and subscribe. I need you guys. We need to get the numbers up. So I need you to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Again, Now Listen Here on YouTube, and follow us on Facebook so that you can get the latest information that we put out, and you'll be informed of upcoming shows. So 2 weeks, we'll be back with a new topic, new discussion. So we're looking forward to seeing you there. Again, everybody, thank you guys for being with us. We'll see you in the next show.
Thank you, man.
Have a good night.
All right, good night, man.